not. Samuel Jinapor, as earlier stated, reiterates his commitment to tackling illegal mining. Also, Invest for Employment, IFE targets 100,000 jobs in Ghana. And on the international scene, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa denies Trump's claims about confiscated land. And that will be all for News at 6 on Zed 101.9 FM. Thank you for listening. I am Samuela Inchi. Up next is Business Breakfast on Zed. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
We thank thee each morning for a newborn day, where we may work the fields of new mown hay. We thank thee for the sunshine and the air that we breathe, O Lord. We thank thee. Thank thee for the rivers that run all day. Thank thee for the little birds that sing along the way. Thank thee for the trees and the deep blue sea, O Lord, we thank thee. Oh yes, we thank thee, Lord, for every flower that blooms, birds that sing, fish that swim, and the light of the moon. We thank thee every day as we kneel and pray, that we were born with eyes to see these things. Thank thee for the fields where the clover is grown. Thank thee for the pastures where cattle may roam. Thank thee for thy love so pure and free, O Lord, we thank thee.
The people you surround yourself with have the power to change your life forever. They can lift you up, inspire you, and make you feel like you're on top of the world. But they can also bring you down, drain your energy, and make you feel like giving up. That is why it is important to choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who support you, and who inspire you to be your best self. Think about the people you spend most of your time with. Are they positive and uplifting, or negative and critical? Do they encourage you to chase your dreams, or do they hold you back with their doubts and fears? The people you surround yourself with can either fuel your passions or extinguish them. Choose people who fuel your passions and inspire you to reach new heights. The truth is, the people you associate with can either make or break you. They can either help you grow and achieve your dreams, or hold you back and keep you stuck. That is why it is so important to be intentional about the company you keep. The conversations you have, the books you read, and the movies you watch all have the power to shape your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So choose wisely. Surround yourself with positivity, inspiration, and motivation. Read books that uplift and educate you. Watch movies that inspire and motivate you. And have conversations that leave you feeling good about yourself and your life. You have the power to choose what you expose yourself to. So choose things that make you feel good. You deserve to live an amazing life. A life that is filled with purpose, passion, and joy. So go out there and create it. Believe in yourself, your abilities, and your dreams, and never give up on what you want to achieve.
We thank thee, oh yes, we thank thee, Lord, for every flower that blooms, birds that sing, fish that swim, and the light of the moon. We thank thee every day as we kneel and pray, that we were born with eyes to see these things. Yes, we thank thee for the fields where the clover is grown. Thank thee for the pastures where cattle may roam. Thank thee for thy love so pure and so free, O Lord. We thank thee.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
You're tuned in to Zed 101.9 FM, your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
A very good morning to you. A very good morning to you. It's Tuesday and welcome to the best morning show on the blog, Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. My name is Nietzsche Hammond. For the next 4 hours, I've got you covered with all the insights and quality conversations to kickstart your week, to kickstart your day. I beg your pardon. Please feel free to WhatsApp me or call me on our phone lines when we activate the phone lines later in the show. This is Z101.9 FM, your home for business, lifestyle, and leisure. Do stick and stay. Let's do this for God and country.
101.9 FM.
Well, of course, it's always a good time to praise the Lord. No matter what life throws at you, whether you are on the mountaintop or walking through the valley, there's always a reason to praise. And the song in the background is Praise by Elevation Worship. You know something? Praise isn't just about how you feel. It's about who God is. God is faithful. He's constant. And He's worthy of our worship through every season. So don't wait for everything to be perfect. Lift up your voice. Shift your focus from your problems and praise Him. Let your praise be louder than your worries. As you go through your day, make sure that you are praising every step of the way. The scripture says that when our praises go up, His glory comes down. So don't hold back your praise this morning. Thank you very much for staying with me. We've got a very exciting lineup for you today. And of course, we'll kickstart things this morning with a news review segment. Then Samuela will come your way with the latest business news. Right after that, Lukman Evergreen Mumi will take over with a sports flash. Then I come your way with Business Brief. Then Transport Today will be next, followed by Market Trends. Then we round up everything this morning with a roundtable discussion on how you can leverage your network for success in business and career. And as usual, that's a conversation you want to definitely tune in and wait for. So stay with me. It's going to be a great morning here on Zed 101.9 FM, your most trusted destination for business, lifestyle, and leisure. Let's get started.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Well, welcome back. Now time for news review. And I have a few headlines for you this morning. I'm going to take you through them. And Abel and Soliwin will join me over the phone lines and we'll break down some of these headlines for you so that we can make sense of every single thing. Now, on my Joy Online, it says that Afenyo Marking faces Privileges Committee. If he fails to apologize to clerk, Bernard are here for. Says that. And then chaos at vetting. Speaker Bagman's autocratic posture is dangerous. And that is coming from the NPP. And students of KTI and KSS or CAS clash in Kumasi, property vandalized. And also recall suspended MPs and dissolve ad hoc committees. Afenyo Marking tells Speaker, I have a good relationship with Afenyo Marking, but struggle with his excesses. Bernard Ayafo says that. Unfortunately, Muntaka Mubarak loses mother, and GFA halts Ghana Premier League following fan death in Swatre. And Trump plans to cut U.S. funding to South Africa over land law. Musk has also criticized the country. And on City Newsroom, it says that Bernard Ayafo justifies Bagman's decision to suspend 4 MPs. I will soon engage traditional leaders on combating Galamsey, Ama Kofiboa. Previous SIM card registration was incomplete, not useless. Ken Ashigbe says that. And then vetting chaos. Ayariga capable of leading the 9th Parliament. Abib Idrisu. And appointment committee says that Afenyo marking. Okay, on the appointment committee story, Afenyo marking's language too belligerent in Inusa Fusini. And then let's do some business headlines as well this morning. Fuel price increase for third consecutive time in 2025. Government's planning collateral-free loans for women entrepreneurs. That is coming from the Trade Minister. And also Standard Chartered whose global market outlook 2025. Akufo-Addo honored for leadership at Africa Prosperity Awards. And inflation kept with interest rate hikes, no recession triggered. That is coming from the IMF boss. And inflation drops to 23.5% in January 2025 after 4 straight increases. And ECG warns of widespread meter tampering, vows legal action. All right, good morning. I have Abel over the phone lines who's going to help me break down some of these headlines. Abel, good morning.
Good morning, Rob.
How are you doing?
It's another day. We thank the God Lord for keeping us alive. And I hope you are fine too. And good morning to our listeners.
Yeah, I'm doing very fine. Yeah, by God's grace. I want us to break down some of the headlines for today. Now, one of the very first stories, and I think that is something related to what we discussed today in line with the students, the Accra Academy student who was bullying another colleague. Now, the new development on a similar story, or an education story, is that students of Kumasi Technical Institute students of Kumasi Technical Institute and Kumasi Anglican Senior High School in Ashanti regions have clashed, leading to vandalism of property on both campuses. Now, I'm reading some parts of the story for you. It says that in a violent reprisal, the rampaging students bent car tires and hurled stones and other objects. They destroyed 4 private vehicles on the campus of CAS, the school gate, as well as billboard and notice board of KTI. Principal of KTI, Gabriel Kinsford, alleged the students of Kumasi Anglican started attacking KTI with stones and machetes to vandalize their school billboard on Thursday night. So that's basically the story. And I think these issues are worrying. Because very recently, I also saw a video of students of Accra High School and Kimbu chasing themselves on the streets of Accra around the airport area. And it is sad that young people are taking this kind of route. What are your thoughts on that?
Very worrying things, very disturbing things, very condemnable. The indiscipline is getting out of hand. I don't even know how to describe this again. If you recall, the O'Reilly Senior High School issue also, where the same clashes between students. In this case, it was not even different schools, but it was among students. That resulted in the unfortunate incident at O'Reilly. These stories are becoming too many, and I think that the Ghana Education Service must move into to address some of these issues. CHAS is directly responsible for senior high school. Interestingly, most of these issues are at the senior high school level.
Yeah.
Where, I don't know, maybe students are transitioning from one period to the other, boisterousness, among others, and a lot of exuberance to please their friends, and also some peer pressure influence among others. And the things that we are witnessing are very well. And these are the ones that are caught on videos, you know.
Yeah.
For me, that is where I'm even scared. What about the ones that we don't see on videos? What about the ones that are not captured on camera for the general public? You know. So it's a very sad situation in our the country. The Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, must put their foot down and bring in some order. How can this issue be addressed? Like yesterday we were saying, there must be a conversation going forward. What is happening? What are the root causes of this issue? You see, because if we don't address the root causes of I've heard some people say teachers have not been given a responsibility. Those days teachers used to cane and things, and now because teachers don't change, I don't think that will resolve the issue. Some of these issues, their root causes have nothing to do with teachers wielding canes or not. Some of these rivalries between schools are from historic cases where possibly they go to inter-schools and things and they want to prove some points among themselves, you know.
Yeah.
I recall when I was in Laboni Secondary School and in Deep Accra, when we go for inter-school competition, I don't want to mention some schools' names, but there was that rivalry, you know, and at every point in time, we were all ready to prove a point. And like I said, maybe cameras were not there and could not capture those things. But these issues have lived with us and traveled with us from a very long journey. Right. We cannot pretend that they are now rearing their ugly heads in public. No. They've been there. But we suppress them because maybe they were not caught on videos and things. Yeah. Now they are caught on videos and the things are really disturbing, really worrying, really embarrassing for a country like Ghana that touts its education as one of its major achievements. If you recall, the African Prosperity Dialogue, I think on Saturday, awarded the outgone president an award for his achievements in education, basically for implementing the free senior high school. Across the African continent, many African countries that have not started implementing free secondary education are looking at Ghana and learning from Ghana. Ghana has free compulsory basic education and now has free secondary education. In addition, the current government is about to roll out free tuition for first-year university students. Yeah. Basically, we are going towards what our 1992 Constitution has for us. That is progressive free education across all levels. So a lot of countries on the continent are learning from us. And imagine if they get up and they tune into their education or they go on social media or on the internet, and these are the things they see from secondary schools across Ghana, then it means that there is something we are not getting in our educational system, right? And for me, I always pin it down, back to our value system. What are we teaching our children? What are we teaching our children? What are we inculcating into our children? At church, at the mosques, at social gatherings, at informal meetings, at home. What do we teach our children? These things and how we encourage or how we vision our educational system. I think it is not too holistic, and that is why we are seeing some of these things. There must be deliberate, there must be intentionality to get all these things right. And for me, that is what we agree that the National Education Forum could not have a better time And all these issues must be raised by stakeholders at that level to see how we can find lasting solutions to some of these issues.
Right, very, very important. Now, a man of God once said that every national problem or every global problem was once a national problem that wasn't managed well, and every national problem was once a regional problem that wasn't managed well, and every regional problem was once a community problem that wasn't managed well, and every community problem was once a family problem that wasn't managed well, and every family problem was once an individual problem that wasn't managed well. And so I think the whole thing boils down to the home. How are people even training their children? You know, we parents sometimes leave the whole training of their wards to schools and all of that because they don't have enough time. And I think that is something that we must look at. Yeah, so let's move on to the New Finder. There's a story on the front page of the New Finder. It says that a young entrepreneur shares key strategies for turning passion into profit. There's also investing for employment to support creation of 100,000 jobs. And GSS report reveals most affected produce by inflation. I want us to go through the story on the young entrepreneur, which I think she outlines some of the things. Let me just read that story. It says a young entrepreneur and creative director for Juice Beats, Juliana Garbing, has shared valuable insights for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to turn their passion into profitable ventures. She spoke on Zed Business Breakfast yesterday, and she said that she emphasized the importance of discipline, focus, commitment, and consistency as a foundation for business success. And she drew from her personal experience to talk about some of these things. I don't know if that's something you want to comment on, Abel.
Oh, yes. I mean, sorry. For entrepreneurship, it's become a thing, you know, and it comes in different forms. And like we've always said, the private sector remains the engine that will drive growth in the country. Not just that. Of course, the public sector is the main engine. I've heard other people say the public sector is the main engine. But in our part of the world, where revenue mobilization is a big deal, and government does not have adequate resources to address every challenge. Recruitment in public service has increasingly become a difficult thing. Government can take few numbers. So if government can take few numbers, look at the numbers that are being churned out from senior high school at the university level, and those also in the informal sector. Huge numbers. And yet, averagely, a year, how many people can government employ? So the private sector and entrepreneurship is really the way to go. And every effort that must be brought on board to assist and encourage young people like all of us to go into entrepreneurship is welcome, and it's a very important step.
Right.
So I just want to be very brief on that. Entrepreneurship is very important. Aside the fact that it's creating employment and job opportunities for young people and other adults in the society, it also solves problems, because most instances entrepreneurs are looking at solving social problems, among others, first before making profit. So the more we encourage entrepreneurship in our system, the more we are encouraging problem solving within our communities and society. First, problem solving first, then employment and job opportunity and income for young people.
Right, Abel. Very, very good points that you raised there. Now let's talk about the chaos in Parliament. Now the Speaker of Parliament set up a committee to probe the matters that happened at the appointments committee. The violence that took place there, and they are supposed to start work tomorrow. What are your expectations?
Well, the issue is a very serious one. I think that is why the Speaker has been very firm with the decision that he took. The committee, I think yesterday, the committee addressed the public. They said the hearing is going to be a public, for the public to follow, so that everybody can see that nobody is being witch hunt or being treated unfairly. I think what happened at the appointment committee on that particular Thursday, 29 January 2025, was an embarrassment to the whole nation.
Right.
The whole nation, not even Parliament itself, but the entire country. And it also portrays a certain, for lack of better expression, or I don't know how to put it, but what we saw our members of Parliament engaged in, our members of Parliament we call honorable members, is a sign that the Ghanaian public is either lawless or we don't follow. We are not people that will want to use lawful means to address issues, and that when tensions escalate, we do not have the temperament to resolve those matters. In fact, not just that we have become not the hospitable people that we are known for, that the respectful people that we are known for, the tolerant people that we are known for, and that our nature has become intolerable for opinions of others, or where we feel that we do not have the support, then we must use other means to achieve what we have to achieve, because for us, it is that or nobody else can have their way. It also encourages young people that where we have to disagree to agree, then we must use chaos as a means to resolving matters. Because what was the issue on the appointment committee? That the committee says we should progress with the vetting of the other nominees. The minority says, no, the next portfolios are very important, and therefore the vetting cannot be done that night, but should be continued the next day. The chairman of the committee insists that these are issues that were addressed and that they were going to progress. Parliament works with standing orders. Parliament works with rules of engagement. Parliament works with conventions. So the minority leader, who is a ranking member, ordinarily, what were the laid down processes or procedures available to them to protect, forcefully make their point and ensure that it's registered in the minds of the good public.
Right.
Those legal processes are there. You can raise your issue. You can protest vehemently. And where there is no agreement, the committee takes a vote. If the committee takes a vote and that vote does not favor you, you can stage a walkout.
Right.
It must be put on record that at no instance must any caucus in Parliament insist that so far as they cannot have their way, then they will disrupt the processes in Parliament. And that is exactly what the minority did.
Yeah.
While the committee is here to start its work, it will be inappropriate to apportion blame because that is what the committee is supposed to unravel. But the jury is out there. We all saw what happened. I think that we can only hope that the committee's work will touch on all these issues and the members that are responsible for the chaos that was witnessed on Thursday, 29 January 2025, will be called out accordingly. Whatever punishment that they are deserving, they must face that.
Right. Now, also on the minority leader accusing the clerk of parliament, I see a news story where it says that Ahiafo says that Afenyo King is likely to face a privileges committee. Is that something you want to comment on?
Yes. I've spoken extensively on it. You know, in public service, in fact, public servants do not have the opportunity to address media or always put their side of the story out.
All right.
And the politicians are very much aware of this. Afenyo Makin has been leader of the House before. In fact, now as minority leader, he still remains a leader of the House. I mean, not the first leader, but he's also a leader of the House.
Right.
It is in his interest to protect all parliamentary service staff. And where there are issues with parliamentary service staff, there is a forum for addressing that. The clerk to the committee is not responsible for running the committee. Administratively and procedurally, yes, but at the direction of the chairman of the committee. So if there are issues to be addressed, you address those issues with the chairman of the committee and not the clerk.
Right.
The clerk can insist on certain things to be done, yet when the chairman gives the final directive, the clerk is bound to act by those directives, or else it amounts to insubordination.
Right.
The committee is the chairman's committee, held in trust and in the stead of the Speaker of Parliament. In fact, you see how the Speaker chairs the parliamentary proceedings. The way Speaker chairs parliamentary proceedings, that is how it is done at committee level. Now, when a committee is set up to look into specific issues, the assumption is that the Speaker is the one chairing. But because he cannot chair all committees, some people are selected to chair those committees on behalf of the Speaker. You get the point.
Yeah.
And so the chairman of the committee is working or holding that particular position in the stead of the Speaker. So that committee is a Speaker's committee. And we all understand the Speaker has all the rights.
Right.
When it comes to administering parliamentary responsibilities and functions. So if the chairman directs the clerk to act in any particular way, and the minority leadership has issues with that, you know the forum to address that.
Yeah.
But to go out public, not just calling her out for some disagreement, but to use some language that for me, it cannot be repeated on this platform. It's very unfortunate.
Right.
And that is why I said the minority leader must be condemned by all. Don't forget, I don't want to make this issue a gender issue. But when one of the members of parliament was called a particular name, the whole parliament threatened to break loose. You know? And yet today, look at the words that have been used to describe a clerk to a committee of parliament. Look at the words that have been used.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. And I think that the call by the chairman for the minority leader to apologize unreservedly to the clerk to the committee is late but very welcoming.
Right.
It's the right thing to do. And I'll add my voice to it. Wherever, if the minority leader by chance is listening to us this morning, or anybody close to him that is listening to us, must inform him. It is the honorable thing to do.
Right. Well, let's try and wrap up with the teacher training allowance story on Daily Graphic. Now, yesterday the education minister hinted that teacher training allowance will be scrapped. It will go. President Mahama scrapped it, and then when President Akufo-Addo took over, ex-President Akufo-Addo took over, he brought it back, and now the education minister, Honorable Aruna Idrisu, is hinting that they are going to scrap it. Is that something you want to say about it?
That's right. But these issues we have discussed it at length at our O level. My position on this issue. I don't understand why government will be subsidizing education for a particular group of people, and yet at the same time have to pay them money for them to go to that school. The teacher training allowance, we know the history. We know why it was instituted to encourage more people to go into teaching. At the time where it was being instituted, teaching was not a profession that a lot of people wanted to go into because people were looking for other professions that were well-paying and guaranteeing of good service conditions. And so government in its wisdom thought that by placing this allowance, it will encourage more people to go into it. In fact, teacher training education is very subsidized to its maximum by government. If you compare all tertiary institutions, now teacher training colleges offer bachelors of education, right? So degree. If you compare that to all public tertiary institutions, in terms of payment of academic fees, colleges of education pay very less.
Yeah.
And in addition, government have to pay these allowances for them to go to school. The payment of these allowances has resulted in two things. The restriction in terms of admission of students at teacher training colleges. Because of the allowances, there's a quota system where every year these schools cannot admit beyond certain numbers. What are we doing to our colleges of education?
Right.
Because the potential that these colleges have are not being tapped into fully. In fact, if a college can admit, let's say, 1,000 students in an academic year, and that college is forced to take 250 students, look at the resources the college is losing because governments want to have control over the payment of allowance.
Yeah.
So it is a conversation that I am open to, that we must find ways to safeguard. Okay, it's very important. We must find ways to safeguard teacher education.
Yeah. Because
if we don't get teacher education right, then we'll be sitting on a time bomb. Because these people that come out are those that will go to the basic schools and other schools to teach the next generation. And so it is very critical that we get that right. So in getting that conversation right, and the conversation around the teacher trainee allowance payment, it must be done in a holistic manner. And when I say a holistic manner, all stakeholders come on board. The teacher trainees have what we call tag.
Right.
The teacher trainees have what their representation, what we call tag. Tag must also be brought on board. There must be engagement. Those currently in school must have an understanding of where we want to go. What is the future of teacher education? Government must not just take a position that we want to cancel the allowance. No. There must be a politic conversation around it. In the cancellation of the allowance, what are we putting forth to ensure that teacher education is protected? That conversation must be had, and where there are disagreements, we can have agreement and we can build consensus and move teacher education forward.
All right, Abel, thank you very much for joining me this morning. I'm grateful that you joined. So
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So the Minister of Interior also lost a mother, and we just want to wish him our deepest condolences. Yeah, I know you may want to have said something about that, but because of time. So thank you very much for joining me. We'll talk tomorrow. Right, it's 7 a.m. and Samuela Entry brings you the business news.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Hello and welcome to the business news segment on Business Breakfast on Zed. Coming up, Invest for Employment IFE targets 100,000 jobs in Ghana. Also, latest report from Ghana Statistical Service reveals that inflation heavily affects locally produced food items. And also, GRA Diapa educate businesses on tax policies and incentives. I am Samuela Inchi. Let's settle in for the details. Invest for Employment IFE announces to the general public that they are working with businesses in Ghana to create up to 100,000 jobs while improving working conditions and social protection. Invest for Employment is a financing initiative under Invest for Jobs that provides co-financing grants for projects with high job creation potential. Speaking at an information session in Accra, Country Manager for IFE Ghana, Karim Gad, explained that the initiative is part of the German government's Decent Work for a Just Transition program implemented through the KfW Development Bank. Mr. Gad announced a new call for proposals inviting companies, public institutions, and non-profits to apply for grants. To qualify, projects must generate employment in the private sector. Additional funding is available for businesses that include employer-supported social protection schemes. The application deadline is April 15, 2025, with an early evaluation round for submissions made by February 28, 2025. IFE offers grants ranging from €650,000 to €10 million per project, with preference given to proposals that combine job creation with enhanced social protection for workers and their families. Moving on, the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that inflation is heavily affecting locally produced food items. According to the latest report from the Ghana Statistical Service, overall food inflation on a month-on-month basis was 2% for January 2025, 0.5% points higher than December 2024. This contrasts non-food inflation that reduced since December. The report further revealed that locally produced food items are particularly affected than imported goods. Speaking during the release of the Consumer Price Index and Inflation Report, government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Enim revealed some key trends of consumer inflation for January 2025.
We recorded a 9.1 percentage point difference between inflation for food items and inflation for non-food items, with inflation for food items recording 28.3% for the month of January 2025 relative to 19.2% for non-food for the month of January 2025. We have seen an increase in food inflation, increasing from 27.8 to 28.3 between December 2024 and January 2025, indicating a 0.5 percentage point increase for food inflation between December 2024 and January 2025. We've seen a slowdown in non-food inflation. Non-food inflation was 20.3 for the month of December 2024 and slowed down to 19.2% for the month of January 2025. On a month-on-month basis, we recorded a 0.6 percentage point difference between food inflation and non-food inflation, with food inflation recording 2.0% for the month of January 2025 and 1.4% for non-food for the same period, January 2025. Locally produced items recorded a relatively higher rate of inflation compared to inflation for imported items for the month of January 2025, with locally produced items recording an inflation rate of 25.7% relative to 18.4% for inflation on imported items. So predominantly, food inflation in the month of January 2025 was largely driven by vegetables, tubers and plantains, and fruits and nuts on a year-on-year basis. And also these same commodities on a month-on-month basis drove the 2.0% that was recorded for the month of January 2025.
And that was government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Enim. Away from that, the Ghana Revenue Authority, in collaboration with Duapa Workspace, has organized an evaluation exercise on tax policies and incentives for people in climate-related businesses. The meeting was aimed at assessing tax policies and incentives for climate-smart businesses and how best such emerging enterprises could take advantage of the tax regime and become more compliant. Mr. Erasmus Mensah Akon, the CEO of Duapa, a business incubation center, said the initiative was also to allow for sustainable enterprises to share insights on the challenges and opportunities within Ghana's tax framework. The engagement brought together businesses focused on environmental sustainability, allowing them to contribute valuable feedback that would help refine existing tax policies and guide the development of new incentives to promote green entrepreneurship. This event marks a significant step towards fostering a business-friendly environment for climate-conscious enterprises in Ghana. He was therefore grateful to all participating businesses for their contributions to the impactful dialogue. That'll be all for business news on Zed 101.9 FM. A recap of the headlines, our top stories for today. Invest for Employment, IFE targets 100,000 jobs in Ghana. Also, latest report from Ghana Statistical Service reveals that inflation heavily affects locally produced food items. And GRA Duapa educates businesses on tax policies and incentives. I am Samuela Aintree. Thank you very much for listening to Business News on Zed 101.9 FM. You can follow us on all our social media handles. You can also visit www.zedmultimedia.com for more. Up next is Sports Flash with Lukeman Evergreen Moomin. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
All lovers to feel the love this Valentine with Love A to Z on Zed FM.
We're bringing love to life in every way, whether it's a grand gesture or a simple story.
Share your love moments with us, dedicate your favorite songs, and win amazing prizes along the way.
Tune in to Love A to Z on ZFM 101.9.
From Wednesday the 29th of January to Friday, February 14th, you'll have the chance of winning amazing prizes from interactions on all our social media channels.
From BBZ to the brighter side with NYA the brand, and all the way to Highway 1019.
This Valentine, we'll make it every day a day to remember. Tune in, feel the love, and let us make your celebration unforgettable.
In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged. Introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Zed 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Zed TV and the innovative realms of Zed Digital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Zed Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the New Finder newspaper, now under the Zed Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Zed Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business.
Lifestyle, leisure, and business platform.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
9 FM.
The stage is set for something special.
It is time to go racing.
God, that's out! Oh, wow! Oh, wow! LeBron James with no regard for human life. You couldn't write a script like this.
Here's Metz, and this is Positive Williams.
Kudus! The Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, Kudus.
Set back for Partey. Oh, yes! Oh, yes, oh, yes! Thomas Partey!
Hello, good morning. It's time for Sports Flash on Business Breakfast on Zed. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. The death of the Kumasi Asante Kotoko fan has really brought Ghana football to a standstill. Now, the Ghana police are currently investigating what happened in Nswatriman in that game between Nswatriman FC and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, in Europe, the January transfer window has closed. Some Ghanaian players made moves in the window. Meanwhile, Graham Potter's return to Stamford Bridge ended in defeat, and we have results from the NBA games that were played last night. Then we begin down here in Ghana, where the Ghana Police Service have confirmed the arrest of Ignatius Bafo Ewa, the owner of Nswatriman FC, in connection with the tragic death of Kumasi Asante Kotoko supporter during the match between the two clubs on Sunday. Now, Bafo Ewa, a former member of parliament for Sunyani West and ex-minister of state, who was apprehended alongside two other individuals, Ajimandria Owusu and Shremi Joseph, to assist the ongoing investigation. Now, in a search of Owusu's room, police discovered two dresses with suspected blood stains and an MP23 pistol with 14 rounds of ammunition, which has further intensified the investigation. Meanwhile, Sports Minister Designate Kofi Adams has assured that the murder of Francis Yao Frimpong, popularly known as Nana Pole, will be treated with utmost seriousness by the police service. Now, a delegation of the Ghana Football Association have visited the family of the late Kumasi Asante Kotoko supporter on behalf of the Ghana Football Association President Kurt Okreku and the Executive Council ESCO member Frederick Echampong, alongside Ashanti Regional RFA Chairman Isaac Edu Agaspa, were among the mourners in Asawase. Now, Echampong expressed deep concern over the violent incident, claiming it would deter fans and families from going to the stadium.
Take shine out. I mean, it's a serious thing. You see, this will scare people away. Football environment is supposed to be safe environment, because see, football games, our stadium is supposed to be safe enough for families to even come attend games with their children. But if these things keep happening, how do you expect somebody to attend matches with their kids, with their children? If the places are unsafe, If such venues are unsafe, how do you expect people to even have the will to go and watch games? You see, so the FA is going to apply the law to the letter. Ghana police is going to apply the law to the letter. Anybody found corporates of this will face full rigors of the law. We must make our environment safe.
Well, that is Executive Committee member of the Ghana Football Association, Frederick A. Champon. Now, Communications Director of Nswatriman FC, Joel Jempe, has confirmed that the club has withdrawn from the Ghana Premier League. Now, this comes after the club clashed with Kumasi Asante Kotoko in match day 19 of the Ghana Premier League at the Nana Kronomansa Park on Sunday afternoon. Now, to Ghanaian players abroad, forward Brandon Thomas Asante has shared his excitement after scoring in Coventry's victory over Swansea City to extend their winning run to 5 matches. Now, the Black Stars forward, who has become a key figure in Frank Lampard's team, also delivered an assist in the 2-0 victory at the SwanseaCity.com stadium. Now, Brandon Thomas Asante reflected on that goal.
The midfielder sort of hesitate a little bit, and I thought, you know, I can first of all get a pressure because we've been pressing quite well, and then as it was coming in, the goalkeeper sort of started to reposition himself, and I thought he wasn't comfortable. Yeah, just a little lift, maybe a wing direction change, but now I'm happy with the execution. Yeah, I mean, sometimes those ones are nice, but you wanna get a few to flesh out the numbers as well. But we'll take it today, 100%.
That is Black Stars forward Brandon Thomas Asante speaking after the 2-0 victory over Swansea City in the English Championship over the weekend. Now, Ghanaian midfielder Jeffrey Schlupp has joined the Scottish Giants Celtic on transfer deadline day from Crystal Palace. Now, the former Black Stars midfielder signed a deal to join Celtic on loan till the end of the season, subject to international clearance. Now, Schlupp, a one-time English Premier League winner, arrives with enormous experience, having played 400 games in the English top division. And in Europe, Chelsea returned to the top 4 in the Premier League after coming from behind to beat West Ham United on former manager Graham Potter's return to Stamford Bridge. Now, Jarrod Bowen had opened the scoring for the visitors before Pedro Neto leveled in the second half. An own goal from Aaron Wan-Bissaka gave Chelsea victory. Now, here is Bowen, who scored for West Ham, praising his teammates for their resilient display.
We were sat here speaking, you know, got something from the game and not losing the game, but you know, I think the energy from the lads, you see the support at the end there, the fans clapping us off, and we've had too many times where we played Chelsea and it's been, you know, 5-0, 3-0, and we've never really been in the game. But you know, I think tonight coming here to a side that are fighting for the Champions League, was in the title race a few weeks ago, and yeah, really frustrating them, and you know, a couple of little, like I said, the second goal, a deflection, which, you know, on any other day might get deflected for a corner or go into Fonz's hands, but little things just felt like they went against us tonight, and sometimes that happens in football. We've got a bit of time now until the next game. Looking forward to getting back out there at home. You know, I haven't played there since obviously the Liverpool game, so looking forward to getting back out there. And yeah, just happy to be back helping the team.
Well, that was Jarrod Bowen speaking after West Ham's 2-1 defeat to Chelsea. Now, Arsenal remain comfortably adrift of relentless Premier League leaders Liverpool, despite their 5-1 hammering of Manchester City on Sunday. Now, midfielder Declan Rice says that there is that determination to hunt Liverpool down for the title. Now, he provided 2 assists in that big win over Manchester City.
Yeah, I think these big games, this is why Arsenal brought me, you know. I always want to step up in the big games, and I know I can deliver for this club in the big moments, and you know, today I knew how big it was, and I just had that fire in my stomach. You know, I really wanted to put things right from the start. The first game of the season when we played them, it was 2-2, and we all did, you know, to win today like we did 5-1. It was a real special day, and to get 2 assists and play a part in the first, I was really, really happy with that. So yeah, hopefully more to come.
Well, Arsenal are just 6 points behind Liverpool, who have a game in hand. Now, to some transfer news, Tottenham have signed France under-21 striker Mathys Tel from Bayern Munich on loan. The 19-year-old reportedly rejected Spurs earlier this month, but will now move to North London, with Tottenham having an option to buy him in the summer for £45 million. Aston Villa have signed Paris Saint-Germain midfielder Marco Asensio and Chelsea defender Axel Disasi on loan until the end of the season. The duo followed the arrivals of Marcus Rashford, Daniel Malen and Andres Garcia at Villa Park during the winter transfer window. Now Manchester City have signed Porto midfielder Nico Gonzalez for £50 million to take their January spending to £180 million. It is the second biggest outlay worldwide in January window history, behind Chelsea's £274 million in 2023. Now Gonzalez is City's third signing of the winter transfer window and has spent a 4.5-year deal to join the Citizens. Meanwhile, Chelsea defender Ben Chilwell has joined Premier League rivals Crystal Palace on loan for the rest of the campaign. Left-back Chilwell has not made a Premier League appearance since April 2024 and was told last August he was not part of Enzo Maresca's plans. Everton have signed Argentine midfielder Carlos Alcaraz on loan from Flamengo for the remainder of the season. Flamengo have said that the loan includes a mandatory purchase clause subject to the parties meeting certain unspecified conditions. But Everton say there is an option to buy at the end of the season. Away from football to some NBA results, and yesterday the Atlanta Hawks defeated the Detroit Pistons by 132 to 130. Now the Charlotte Hornets lost to the Washington Wizards. The New York Knicks continued their red-hot form with victory over the Houston Rockets. Now the Sacramento Kings also defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Oklahoma City Thunders defeated the Milwaukee Bucks 125 to 96. The Memphis Grizzlies were also winners over the San Antonio Spurs. And later yesterday, the Indiana Pacers defeated the Utah Jazz by just 8 points. The Denver Nuggets returned to winning ways with a 125 to 113 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans. The Phoenix Suns lost again. This time around, they lost to the Portland Trail Blazers 121-119. And the Golden State Warriors also defeated the Orlando Magic 104 to 99. That will be all for sports this morning. My name is Lukman Evergreen Moment. Business Breakfast on Zed continues with Nee Trebi Hammond.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
1, 2, 3!
Dive into a world of exhilarating fun, refreshing thrills, and endless splashes at the Marina Water Park inside Lakeside. With a wide array of water attractions, you are guaranteed an unforgettable experience for the whole family. Open Saturdays 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sundays 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Call 0508-598-948 or 0204-775-044. Follow us on all socials at Lakeside Marina Park. Marina Water Park. Love the experience.
So fun!
All lovers to feel the love this Valentine with Love A to Z on Zed FM.
We're bringing love to life in every way, whether it's a grand gesture or a simple story.
Share your love moments with us, dedicate your favorite songs, and win amazing prizes along the way.
Tune in to Love A to Z on ZFM 101.9.
From Wednesday the 29th of January to Friday February 14th, you'll have the chance of winning amazing prizes from interactions on all our social media channels.
From BBC to the brighter side with NYA the brand, and all the way to Highway 1019.
This Valentine, we'll make it every day a day to remember. Tune in, feel the love, and let us make your celebration unforgettable.
My sugar, my honey, my sweet. Without you, life not as sweet. I go buy you donuts, pastry too, to show you say I love you true. Don't mind, Valentine's Day. Make we celebrate in a sweet, sweet way. Don't mind, show your love. And pastries sent from above. Oh, you done make me laugh, you done make me smile. You be my partner in this love style. I go buy you chocolate, strawberry.
So don't wait until it's too late. Call Doman today and make this Val's Day one for the memories. Trust me, your loved one will thank you. Call Doman on 020-110-0533, 020-110-0533, or visit www.domanfoods.com. Doman Foods, that need a taste.
Donuts and pastries sent from above. No be only flowers, no be only rings. Doman donuts make our love sing. Sweet like honey, sweet like sugar too. Doman pastries make our love shine through. Doman, Valentine's Day.
On February 14th, Valentine's Day, we are about to experience different shades of love. The symphonies of love and high life music will fill the Palms Convention Center, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Aquabwa presents Shades of Love Concert. Yes, it's back and here again. Come with your loved ones, family and friends and experience Aquabwa music. It's a romantic evening on Valentine's Day from 7 p.m. prompt. Tickets are selling now for 300 Ghana cedis regular, 500 Ghana's VIP, and VVIP going for 750 Ghana cedis. For special table reservations, call 0246 466 770. Yes, so grab your tickets now by dialing *714*2020#. Don't wait to be told. It's Aquaba's Shades of Love concert, February 14th at 7 p.m. prompt. This event is powered by Big Ideas and 3 Music TV.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
FM.
Business Radio.
Well, you're still tuned into Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond. The song in the background is This Far by Grace. And everybody, at every point in time in your life, you know that there are certain things that you're enjoying that you don't deserve. It is just by God's grace that you're going through those things, or you're enjoying those things that you're enjoying. Whether opportunities, some doors that have opened for you, you know that it is just by God's grace. Where I am sitting today, I know it is just by God's grace. It's not by anything that I did or I am doing. Yeah, but it is just by God's grace. And I want you to think about life like that. Everything is about God's grace. Anyway, it's time for Business Brief, and I come your way with that shortly. Stay tuned.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Well, welcome back. This is Business Brief, and this is where I get to share something about business with you, or something that will help you in your career or business, anything that will propel you forward in that regard. Now, you know, when we talk about success in business or career growth, oftentimes we look at hard work, talent, and sometimes even luck or maybe grace, right? But let me tell you something. There's one secret ingredient that many people often overlook, and that is networking. And of course, I'm not talking about the stiff formal kind where you just hand out a business card or smile awkwardly at somebody. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean real meaningful connections that open doors, create opportunities, and sometimes even change your life. I'm going to share with you some stories, some real life examples to show you what I mean. Now, we all know Oprah Winfrey. Take Oprah Winfrey for example. Today, she's one of the most influential women in the world. But how did she get there? Yes, of course, she's talented, but talent alone didn't get her a multi-billion dollar empire. It was relationships. Strategic relationships or strategic connections with people who believed in her potential. When she was just starting out, she connected with Jeff Jacobs, an executive at her TV station. Now, Jeff wasn't just a hello and goodbye kind of connection. He saw something special in Oprah and helped her negotiate a deal to own her own show. And that one move changed Oprah's life forever. And that is what came about as the Oprah Winfrey Show. She was working with Jeff Jacobs. They had a good relationship. Jeff realized that this lady is very good. How can I help her? And that was how come Oprah Winfrey Show came about. Today, Oprah is celebrated across the globe. And so networking isn't just about who you know. It's about who knows your value. Let me repeat that. Networking isn't just about who you know. It's about who knows your value. Oprah didn't just collect contacts. She built genuine relationships and let her work speak for her. Sometimes the right connections isn't about getting a job. It's about getting a seat at the table, or better still, owning the table. So you need to rethink networking, I beg your pardon. Another person that I want to share, another story that I want to share with you is about Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk, we all know him as a guy behind Tesla and SpaceX, right? But did you know that his success story is deeply rooted in networking? Yes. Back in the day, Elon was part of what they call the PayPal mafia. It was a group of tech entrepreneurs who co-founded PayPal. Now, this group included big names like Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, and some other guys. When Musk left PayPal, guess who supported his crazy ideas about electric cars and rockets? His PayPal crew. They were the same guys that supported him. Peter Thiel invested in his SpaceX. Reid Hoffman helped him with some strategic connections, and that helped him scale up his business to where it is now. Connections. Your network can be your network. I think there's something that has been said over and over again. Your network can be your net worth. Surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you and believe in your vision. You never know when that old colleague or friend could be the key to your next big move. Somebody can just recommend you. Somebody can just mention your name in a particular room, and it will open a lot of doors for you. So make sure that you are keeping very good relationships. Now, another person whose story I'm very much interested in, I think is something that you should also pay attention to, is Richard Branson. Richard Branson is a guy behind Virgin Group. I know many of us know him. You think someone like him must have had some secret formula to success, right? Yes, he had some secret success, some formula to success, and that is the fact that he made friends. In the early days of Virgin Records, Branson didn't just send emails or make cold calls. He built personal relationships with artists and their managers. That's how he managed to sign the Rolling Stones, by genuinely connecting with them, not just as a businessman, but as a person. Branson once said, he said that business is all about personal contacts, making friends, helping people, and eventually people helping you. I think I should repeat that. He says that business is all about personal contacts, making friends, helping people, and eventually people helping you. What is the lesson from that? Networking isn't just transactional. It is personal. When people like you and they trust you, they will think of you first when opportunities come up. When somebody needs somebody to speak on a particular, when somebody needs you to, you needs a person who can speak on a particular subject, you will come to mind easily, because of the relationship that you share. They won't go and look for a stranger. They'll call you first. All right. Now, let's also talk about Sheryl Sandberg. She was a former chief operating officer of Facebook. How did she land that role? It wasn't just because of her impressive resume. No. It was because of a simple, casual connection she made with Mark Zuckerberg at a party, of all places. She once met Mark Zuckerberg at a party, and they connected. And that's how she landed her role at Facebook. They struck up a conversation about leadership and tech. And guess what? That conversation turned into a job offer. And under her leadership, Facebook's revenue grew like wildfire. So you never know when a casual chat could turn into a life-changing opportunity. Always make sure that you show up, you're present, and you're genuinely interested in people. And that is something that can help you very well. There are a few other stories I want to share, but because of time, I won't go into all of that. But let me share the last one more that I want to give you. And it's about Jan Koum. I know many of you might know Jan Koum. He's a guy who co-founded WhatsApp. He was born in Ukraine. He moved to the US and struggled to find his footing when he moved to the US. But he loved tech. So he joined Yahoo, where he met Brian Acton. Fast forward a few years later, both of them applied for jobs at Facebook and got rejected. But instead of sulking, they teamed up to create WhatsApp. And guess who came back knocking? Facebook. They bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. Facebook bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. These same guys who had applied for a job at Facebook and were rejected were the same guys who had created WhatsApp. And later, Facebook comes back to buy from them. Right? So your network isn't just about climbing the ladder. Sometimes it's about finding the people who will build the ladder with you. I'll repeat that. Your network isn't just about climbing the ladder. Sometimes it is about finding people who will build the ladder with you. Just like Jan Koum and Brian Acton did. So what are the key takeaways from today's business brief? Networking isn't just about collecting contacts. It's about building relationships. And also, your next big opportunity could come from a simple conversation. Your next big opportunity could come from a simple conversation. A simple hello, a simple hi to somebody can land you a very big opportunity. Another key takeaway from today's business brief is that You need to surround yourself with people who challenge, inspire, and support you. If you listen to our motivation earlier, it was in the same line. Surround yourself with the right people. People who will challenge you, people who will support you, people who will inspire you. Those are the people you need to keep around, not people who bring you down. Another key takeaway from today's business brief will be the fact that don't just network up. Connect with peers and even people that are coming after you. There are 3 levels of friendships that you can have. Those that are above you, those that are your peers on the same level with you, and even those that are beneath. I learned that lesson very early in life, and that has actually helped me, because there was a time I was moving from my house to a new place, and I needed people to help me. It was the same people in my community that I had connected with, not necessarily friends, but just people that I knew in the community who came to help me. And I realized that you can't just be in a community and isolate yourself. Connect with the people around. Engage them, whether they are above you, whether they are beneath you. Make sure that you have some good relationship with them. So don't just network up. Connect with peers and even those coming after you. And then the final one that I want to share with you is that you have to be authentic. People can tell when you are only interested in what they can do for you. Yes, people are not dumb. They can tell. When you are not authentic, they know. So here's my question to you. When was the last time you followed up with someone who inspired you? When was the last time? Make sure you reach out to them. Who is in your circle right now that you are not fully tapping into? Think about it. Ask yourself those questions. Who in my circle am I not engaging? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what you know. It's about who you know and how well you nurture those connections. And this morning, when we get into our roundtable discussion, I'm going to have a LinkedIn expert join me in studio, and we're going to break down some of the things and how you can network and how you can leverage your networks and build even relationships. I think that is the most difficult part. Building the relationship and maintaining is the most difficult part. We're going to talk to him about that. But up next is Transport Today, and Solomon Tetenate will be joining me very soon for that. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is the pre-boarding announcement for flight 3728.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Well, welcome back to Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitra Bihamo. Now time for Transport Today. Solomon is in studio to bring us all of that. Solo, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm very good too.
Thank God.
Tell us the flight schedules for
It's another day, and I'm taking you through the flight schedules available today. So I'm taking you through Passion Air flight schedules, and then Africa World Airlines flight schedules. Right. So I'm starting with Passion Air, and I'm taking Accra to Kumasi, Passion Air, Accra to Kumasi. So we have 6 flights available today from Accra to Kumasi. And first flight takes off 6:20 a.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 7 a.m. And the second flight takes off 7:30 a.m. and then gets to Accra, and then takes off in Kumasi, 7:30 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 8:10 a.m. And the second flight takes off 8:50 a.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 9:30 a.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 10 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 10:40 a.m. Third flight takes off 11:20 a.m. in Accra and then arrives in Kumasi at 12 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 12:30 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 1:10 p.m. Fourth flight takes off 1:50 p.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 2:30 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 3 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 3:40 p.m. Fifth flight takes off 4:20 p.m. and then arrives in in Kumasi at 5 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 5:30 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 6:10 p.m.
Right.
And then the last flight for Passion Air Accra to Kumasi takes off 7:20 p.m. in Accra, and then gets to Kumasi at 8:10 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 8:30 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 9:10 p.m.
Right.
So that is Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Passion Air Accra to Kumasi. Let's look at Accra to Takoradi Passion Air. So we have 2 flights available today for Accra to Takoradi Passion Air. First flight takes off 6:20 a.m. and then arrives in Takoradi at 7:10 a.m. and then takes off in Takoradi at 7:40 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 8:30 a.m.
Right.
And then the second flight, and that is the last flight because we have only 2 flights available today. So second flight takes off 4:20 p.m. and then arrives in Takoradi at 5:10 p.m. and then takes off in Takoradi at 5:40 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 6:30 p.m. So that is Passion Air Accra to Takoradi. We have only 2 flights available today. And then Passion Air Accra to Sunyani. We have 1 flight available today, and it takes off in Accra at 9:10 a.m. and then arrives in Sunyani at 10:10 a.m. and then takes off in Sunyani at 10:40 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 11:40 a.m.
Right.
So that is Accra to Sunyani Passion Air. Accra to Sunyani Passion Air. And Accra to Wa, we have no flight available today. So yeah, that is the information. No flight available today for Accra to Wa. Let's look at Accra to Tamale. Passion Air Accra to Tamale. First flight takes off 6 a.m. in Accra and then arrives in Tamale at 7:20 a.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 7:50 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 9:10 a.m. Second flight for Accra to Tamale. Second flight takes off 12:20 p.m. and then arrives in in Tamale at 1:40 p.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 2:10 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 3:30 p.m. And then the last flight for Accra to Tamale. Takes off 4 p.m. in Accra and then arrives in Tamale at 5:20 p.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 5:50 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 7:10 p.m.
Right.
So that is Passion Air Accra to Tamale. Let's look at Africa World Airlines. World Airlines. So we are looking at Accra to Kumasi, Africa World Airlines, how their flight schedules are. I'm starting with the first flight, which takes off at 6:20 a.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 7 a.m. And then takes off in Kumasi at 7:30 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 8:10 a.m. Second flight for Africa World Airlines, Accra to Kumasi, takes off in Accra at 8:40 a.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 9:20 a.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 9:40 a.m. 9:50 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 10:20 a.m. Third flight for Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi takes off in Accra at 9:40 a.m. and then gets to Kumasi at 10:20 a.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 10:50 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 11:30 a.m. And then the fourth flight takes off in Accra at 2:10 p.m. and then gets to Kumasi at 2:50 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 3:20 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 4 p.m. And then the fifth flight takes off 3:10 p.m. in Accra and then gets to Kumasi at 3:50 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 4:20 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 5 p.m. And then the last flight for Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi takes off in Accra at 7 p.m. and then arrives in Kumasi at 7:40 p.m. and then takes off in Kumasi at 8:10 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 8:50 p.m. So that is Africa World Airlines Accra to Kumasi. That is how the flight schedules are. So let's look at Accra to Takoradi, Africa World Airlines. So we have 3 flights available today for Africa World Airlines Accra to Takoradi. In case you want to, use Africa World Airlines, maybe this will be of importance to you. You have to take note that we have only 3 flights available today for Africa World Airlines Accra to Takoradi. First flight takes off 6:40 a.m. and then arrives in Takoradi at 7:20 a.m. and then takes off in Takoradi at 7:50 a.m. and then gets to Accra at 8:30 a.m. Second flight takes off 12 p.m. in Accra and then gets to Takoradi at 12:40 p.m. and then takes off in Takoradi at 1:10 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 1:50 p.m. And then the last flight for Africa World Airlines Accra to Takoradi takes off in Accra at 4:30 p.m. and then gets to Takoradi at 5:10 p.m. and then takes off in Takoradi at 5:40 p.m. and then gets to Accra at 6:20 p.m. So that is Africa World Airlines Accra to Takoradi. Accra to Tamale. Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale. We have 4 flights available today. Accra to Tamale. And first flight takes off 6:30 a.m. and then arrives in Tamale at 7:30 a.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 8 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 9 a.m. Second flight takes off in Accra at 9:30 a.m. and then arrives in Tamale at 10:30 a.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 11 a.m. and then arrives in Accra at 12 p.m. And then the third flight for Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale takes off in Accra at 12:30 a.m. 12:30 p.m. and then arrives in Tamale at 1:30 p.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 2 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 3 p.m. And then the last flight for Africa World Airlines Accra to Tamale takes off in Accra at 3:30 p.m. and then gets to Tamale at 4:30 p.m. and then takes off in Tamale at 5 p.m. and then arrives in Accra at 6 p.m. So that is all for the flight schedules, both Africa World Airlines and then Passion Air. So let's look at the traffic situation. In town. Looking at Lancaster Hotel all the way to 37 Military Hospital, there is traffic over there at the moment. So the alternative will be when you are heading to Accra, coming from airport or coming from Medina, Shiashi, when you before you get to Opebia bus stop, there is a road at your right. You take and then you use the Lands Commission route. And then you join at the runabout just before 37 Military Hospital. So that will be the alternative for you if you are heading towards Accra or Circle and you are using that route. And then Okpongolo to Spanner. There's also traffic over there at the moment, very huge traffic. The red spot is really showing over there. So you should also take note of that. And then Achimota Mall to Achimota Old Bus Station. There's also traffic over there when you're coming from Taifa or you are coming from Kumasi and you're using that route. That is the information for you. There's traffic over there at the moment. And then Ring Road, when you are using Ring Road, that's when you are going to Circle. When you are going, there's traffic. When you are coming, I think it's free. So when you are going, you need to take note of that. There's traffic over there at the moment. And then the motorway, from Mawums Limited all the way to Motorway Manette bus stop. There's also traffic over there at the moment, so we need to take note of that. So that is the traffic situation in town at the moment. And a good news, TAG Angola National Carrier says it plans to deepen its domestic network and expand its international footprint, including reintroducing flights to Accra following the receipt of the first of 4 Boeing 787-9 aircraft. So TAG Angola Airlines are coming back to Accra. They were operating and then they suspended their operations in June 2023. And now last year they tried to come, but they were having challenges as to purchasing flight and all that. So for now, I think they are set, and they are assuring Ghanaians that they are now reintroducing their flight to Accra. So that is what is trending.
Is there a particular date?
No, they didn't state any dates, but the only day they stated that they are resuming Luanda yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think, yesterday. So, no, 2nd February is
2 days ago.
2 days ago, rather. Yeah, so, 2 days ago, not yesterday. So, that is the date they stated. For Accra, they didn't state any day, but they said they are reintroducing their flight to Accra. So, that is all for the transport today.
Thank you very much, Solo, for coming.
Thank you so much.
I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Well, you're still tuned into Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond. Up next is Market Trends, but just before that, let's take a spot of music. When we return, Emmanuel Boateng will join me over the phone lines, and then we'll continue our conversation from yesterday as we talked about the city's fall or rise. Stay tuned.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
All
Well, it's a minute past 8, and this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. It's time for market trends, and this morning we're going to continue our conversation from yesterday. Yesterday we started talking about the depreciation and stabilization of the Ghana cedi. We've seen a fall in recent times, and we are trying to ask the question whether it will continue to depreciate or it will rise. And Emmanuel Boateng joins me over the phone line for the conversation. But here's what we talked about yesterday, just in case you just joined us today and you didn't listen to our conversation yesterday. So we talked about the factors that influence the stability of the cedi. And Emmanuel Boateng made us understand that inflation rates, government's fiscal policies, foreign reserves, and investor confidence are some of the things that influence the stability of the cedi. We also talked about the role the Bank of Ghana plays in stabilizing the cedi. And Emmanuel Boateng, our economic contributor, explained that monetary policy is one of the roles that the Bank of Ghana plays. It says that the bank adjusts interest rates to control inflation and manage the currency value, and that is one of them. He also talked about foreign exchange interventions, the fact that the Bank of Ghana buys or sells foreign currencies to influence the cedi's strength, even though it says that that is not something that we are seeing in recent times. I mean, the buying of foreign currency, but that is one of the things that the Bank of Ghana usually would do to stabilize the cedi. He also mentioned the regulation of the financial sector. He says that the Bank of Ghana ensures banking stability to prevent financial crises, and that could hurt the cedi. And I asked him a question whether Ghana could achieve long-term cedi stability, and he said that of course Ghana can achieve long-term cedi stability if we are able to diversify our economy, that is to reduce dependence on imports and focus on local production, and also if we're able to have a strong export base. So we should increase non-traditional exports and then also manage our debt very well by keeping public debt within sustainable levels, and also introducing some very good economic policies beyond political cycles. And those are the things that we talked about today. Today, I'm asking him that what can ordinary Ghanaians do to protect their finances when the cedi is unstable? Ima joins me over the phone lines. Ima. Hello? Okay, so we're still trying to connect him, and then once we are able to do that, we'll bring you the conversation. But of course, today the exchange rate for Ghana cedi against the dollar today is about 15.15. Yesterday it was 15.29. It means that today it has come down a bit. Maybe I've just about one peso or so. Yeah, but yesterday it was 15 cedis, 20 pesos, 29 pesos. But today it is 15 cedis, 17 pesos. And I think that is something very good. But it's early days yet, and so we're unable to tell whether it is what government is doing that is actually affecting that, or some measures that have already been put in place already. Yeah, trying to connect to Ima. Once we are able to get him, we'll get into the conversation. But let's enjoy the spot of music while we try to connect him. Once we come back, we get into the conversation, really. Stay tuned.
I said
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Well, you're still tuned into Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM. Now, this month is a month of love. And because of that, we're bringing you the Love A to Z here on Business Breakfast on Zed on Brighter Side and Highway 1019. Now, on Love A to Z, we are going to explore attraction, bonding, commitment, and many more things. So make sure you tune in every weekday on Business Breakfast on Zed, the Brighter Side and Highway 1019 for some expert advice, real life stories, and fun surprises. It's something you don't want to miss. We're just doing our best to make every day count for you in this month of love. And you can get interactive with us by sending us your stories via WhatsApp on 0544321019, 0544321019. You can as well send us your stories on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and stand a chance of winning amazing giveaways from our sponsors. Send us your love stories, your broken heart stories, and any other thing that you think you want to share with us. And you stand an amazing chance of winning some giveaways from our sponsors. Now, this special event is sponsored by Dolman Foods, Liberute Restaurant, and Zilu Beauty Clinic. Dolman will sort you out with some donuts. Liberute will give you some seafood. And then you go to Zilu Beauty Clinic to do your manicure and pedicure. What a package for you and your loved ones. So make sure you tune in every weekday on Business Breakfast on Zed, the Brighter Side with NYA the brand, and Highway 1019. We're bringing you amazing guests, expert guests, who will be sharing real life stories. We'll be giving you expert advice on how you can make your relationships better. It's all about Love A to Z on Business Breakfast on Zed, Highway 1019, and the Brighter Side. Do get in touch with us. And also, Ghana's biggest water park is here, and that is the Marina Water Park. It is a new water and adventurous park for fun and leisure, and it boasts of all the amazing water sports anyone can dream of, from adults to children. And it promises nothing but premium fun with diverse attractions. The Marina Water Park is located at Lakeside Marina Park, and it opens every weekend at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays. And we're also open on all public holidays. And bookings are available for schools, for churches, and corporate institutions who wish to have a team bonding moment. If you want to have a great time, the Marina Water Park is where you should be on Saturdays and Sundays and all public holidays. You can call them on 020-477-5044, 020-477-5044, or 050-859-8948, 050-859-8948. You can as well follow them on social media at Lakeside Marina Park on all social media platforms, or visit www.lakesidemarinapark.com and get some more information there. Or when I say Marina Water Park, What do you say is slide, splash, and swim? Marina Water Park. Slide, splash, and swim.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
You're welcome to the world of viral skins.
Classic. Could you cute? Call me Eugene. Although you say, say you get me the menu what to go do. I say Taguma, ya didn't na metambo how bomo. By I say, you get me the menu what to go do. I say Taguma, ya didn't na metambo how bomo. So dog in a passe, one number mama, one number mama, passe one number mama. Forgetting a damn focus sacramente, passe one number mama, one number mambo, passe one number mama. Forgetting a damn focus sacramente.
Oh, hey man, my boat time ya chepa. So better not hand chest. Hey, when you say when you're fresh, first year like I for push, I'm a transfer. But my bone humpo, when they hear me, then ye be a man young hundo. But Shammy who said that the boat, I bet you could do. Yamayami Budo, raw ball for front. Missy,
when you say one more,
me young woman gallery, move so many.
Let's see my watch.
Wamba, until Capayana Mimu. Mr. Wa, my Yewa, before Nana Pen cry. Number Nidia, and what's a midget, been far by you ain't controversy. Now on your mid.
Well, thank you for staying with us. We're finally being able to get Emmanuel over the phone lines, and he's going to have a conversation with us on the influence of, and we're talking about the depreciation or the fall and the rise of the Ghana cedi. And yesterday we looked at a few things, and I've shared that with you already. Today we're going to talk about what ordinary Ghanaians can do to protect their finances when the cedi is unstable. What do you, listening to me, can do when the cedi is can do to protect your finances when the cedi is unstable? Ima, good morning. Hello, Ima. Hello, Emmanuel. Wow. What? Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well too. We've been trying to get you.
You can't hear me?
No, I'm saying we've been trying to reach you.
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Apologies.
Yeah.
I was in a transit, so.
Right. It's okay. It's okay. So today I want us to talk about what ordinary Ghanaians can do to protect themselves from, when the CD is unstable. So you may want to get into that right away because we are far behind time.
Okay. Right. So, thank you. Good morning to everyone, our cherished listeners, for all who waited. Good morning to you all. So, for ordinary Ghanaians, in protecting their finances, especially against the backdrop that the CD could fluctuate or has been fluctuating, there are a few things that maybe I would suggest. The first is diversifying your income streams. You know, if you rely on multiple income sources, you are able to reduce risk. The whole idea of diversification is to enhance risk reduction. You want to a very large extent, eliminate the risk you would suffer as a result of the depreciation of the currency. And so you would want to have a multiple stream of income so that you are able to mitigate the risk and, as it were, ensure you have some stability around the income you are earning. Aside that, you want to do some investment into assets that do not easily depreciate, especially that do not fluctuate, especially on the downside. And so real estate, of course, gold. Gold is a safe haven. In the literature, it's a safe haven. It is an asset that you can invest in so that it helps deal with the fluctuations around the currency. Because once your investment is locked up in gold, which is a safe asset, it is a safe haven, then you know that in terms of shocks, in terms of fluctuations, you are well taken care of. Aside gold, maybe you can also save in some stable currencies. I'm not speaking so that people will go and be buying dollars and all of that. But once you have savings in a stable currency, once the CD is fluctuating, because there is some stability in such a currency, you are protected. Your investment is protected. And so I think, and these are briefly the few things I would want to highlight.
But why do you say that you're not advising people to go get the CD? Your last point was that you're not advising people to go purchase foreign currencies. Why do you say that?
That's the depreciation of the city. When there is, I spoke about it yesterday and in some previous days. When the demand of the dollar goes high, it is going to affect the city. And so that is why I'm saying my advice is not that people will go and then be purchasing foreign currencies, because that in itself has an inherent adverse effect on the strength and the stability of the city. Because then what that would mean is that the dollar will become attractive. A lot more people will be buying that. The demand for the dollar surges relative to the city, and that impacts the strength of the city. And that is why I am saying that I do not advise that, although it's important for the sake of the question you've asked me, that investments or savings are held in some stable currencies. But that, as it were, insatiable demand for the dollar or for other foreign currencies relative to the city would in itself cause the city to depreciate, and that is why I gave that disclaimer. Right.
Now, how can someone with a low income diversify their income streams effectively?
All right. If you have a low income and you want to diversify your income stream, I think a few things are there that you must understand. Like I've said in the past, if you have a low income, just spend within your means. Don't do something that is outside of your means. You don't want to spend more than you have. I mean, you cannot give more than you have. So you would want to stay within your means, and you would not want to do something outside your means, because once you are spending more than you have. In fact, it's not even possible in the first place. But secondly, you would have little space for savings and investments. And so once you have a little income, and you want to diversify your income streams, you would want to look at what proportion of your income should go into your basic necessities. And then what proportion of your income do you want to hold as savings or investment? Then once you have that, then you decide how to allocate them across the various financial assets or investment handles that are available to you at the point in time. And you are doing this diversification so that when you diversify, in practical terms, the returns on one may be going up, the returns of the other may be falling. And so it has its own way of playing out such that it is able to protect your investment. And so you are not going to have all your investments coming down at the same time. You are not going to have all of them going up. If you do, that is good. But typically, you invest in some risky ones, some that are fairly risky, and some that do not have any risk. And then you invest in some that are long-term and some that are short-term. And so when you put this together in a basket, what it does is that it mitigates the risk on the risky ones, and all of that. And so in the short while or in the long term, you are able to contain the risk while earning some returns on the investment.
Right. Okay. Great. So as side gigs, are they? Is this something people can explore? If they have low income.
It's advisable. Explore side gigs. Don't depend on one stream of income. Multiple streams of income. I think I highlighted that in the first question. You cannot, because once your income is minimal or as it were limited, you would need additional sources of income to be able to cushion you in times of adversity, even in normal times. And so side gigs are advised. You leverage your skill, you leverage on your potential, your knowledge base, something that some of the things you find as low-hanging fruit, you look into them, and that is where you try to, help with the risk. So I think that is also important.
Okay, but I want to also know, are treasury bills still safe? Still a safe investment in Ghana's current economic climate?
Treasury bills are safe. Yeah.
I see. But people have raised concern about inflation affecting it. Do you have something?
Of course,
to say
that is why they, as much as possible, try and peg it around the inflation rate, so that your real income, as in when you divide what you earn nominal by the inflation rate, your purchasing power is not hugely affected. And so usually they peg it around that. I know currently treasury bills are doing around, I think between around 30 on the average, around 30%. And inflation, it has dipped. I'm sure you are aware. It has dipped a bit. And so you would note inflation, on the average, is been around 23%. And so you can see there is a 7% difference. So it's okay.
Okay, you may want to check your WhatsApp. I sent you something so we could discuss a bit further. But also, would you advise that people go for short-term bills? In terms of the exchange rates changing, the interest rates changing.
Would I advise that?
Yes, people should go for short-term bills.
Short-term loans.
Bills, treasury bills.
Treasury bills.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on a few things. Risk and returns is what we have in these typical situations. And so going for a short-term bill depends on your risk tolerance. Of course, it's not risky at all. But, short-term investments have lower yields relative to long-term investments. And so if in the short term, if your target is for a short-term investment strategy where you have a low tolerance for risk and you want some returns, then you can go in for it. And so I would advise you go in for it. But if you have a long-term plan, a long-term purpose, then you would want to look into long-term investments that offer a relatively higher yield to the short-term one. So I would advise you can go in for it. Yeah.
Okay. But how do you determine the right balance between saving and investing during currency instability? How do you determine that?
If I got you right, how do you determine the right balance between saving and investment during
currency
fluctuations of the currency?
Yeah.
Right. I've said it in the past that one thing that is key is a contingent fund, an emergency fund, so that it is able to help you in times of adversities and when the evil days come. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And so you ensure you have that, so that for a certain period where you do not have enough income to help you, you're able to fall on that. You're able to rely on that.
Right.
So for a short term, 3 to 5 months, you fall on that stream of income. I hope that is fine.
Yeah.
So that emergency fund is okay, so that it helps you deal with some expenditure and the rising costs, because a depreciating currency introduces cost, excess or additional cost into the system for which you must deal with necessarily. And so that is the first point I would want to know. And then you invest the surplus funds. Once you've taken care of your emergency fund, that contingent fund, the money you are setting aside to help deal with some, between some short term, maybe in less than a year, that amount is able to help you. You invest in what is, you invest what is left. That surplus fund, you invest that into low risky assets like the treasury bill or some diversified portfolios to grow your wealth, some mutual funds and all of that, so that you are able to cushion yourself in the short term as well. So I think essentially that is what I'm saying.
Right. Now, I also want to know, what are the key things to consider before investing in real estate as a hedge against depreciation?
Yeah, that is a big investment. Real estate is a big investment.
Well, I think one day we should have a conversation fully about real estate.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
it is a big investment, and so you would want to do your due diligence well. You would want to understand the location of the real estate. Are we limiting ourselves to Ghana?
Let's stick to Ghana.
Okay.
But you could as well talk internationally.
You let me know the two different situations apply. So let me limit myself to Ghana. Yeah. All right. So in real estate situations, you need to consider the property, the location of the property. That is important. So if I may ask you, would you invest in a real estate that is somewhere Trasacco, East Legon, relative to one that we can find around the outskirts of Choco or somewhere? What would you tell me?
Of course, I'll go to the East Legon.
Exactly, because the location has an impact on the value of the facility. And so that is what I'm saying, that is very significant. So you would want to check the location. Your due diligence should in fact include the potential of that real estate in terms of its ability to appreciate over time rather than depreciate. And so the appreciation thereof helps provide some buffer for you, some cover relative to the performance of the currency. And so if you want to go into real estate, you need to look at the potential appreciation of the value of the real estate facility, because that is important, very, very crucial, because that is how you make your income. Not only that, you need to look at the rental demand. If there is a real estate that is in limited demand, people don't even want it because of various reasons, including where it is, how it is managed. Among other things, you want to understand the terms of reference, among other things. What is this real estate all about? What place purchase it, among other things? Is it meeting their demand? Does it offer what they want? If you don't have that, and it is one that is low, that has a low patronage, then it is not something you may want to consider. And the legal documentation. So I'm speaking to your due diligence. You have to do that. Has it met all the legal requirements in terms of law, so that you do not invest in something that will wind up because of some legalities? You do not want to do that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have invested wisely. You wouldn't have done a good investment that will earn you some good return, because once that is triggered, once legal documentations are triggered, once its location is not the right one, once its potential in terms of generating revenue and meeting the demands of customers, as it were, then it is not one that you should consider. To ensure it aligns broadly with your long-term financial goals, in addition to looking at all these due diligence issues, ensure that it broadly aligns with your long-term financial goals. And it's something that you really want, and it's something that you can sustain for yourself. And I think that then you would have nothing limiting you to going for it.
Right. Now, I want us to talk about some practical money management. Should Ghanaians prioritize paying off a debt or saving when the CD is unstable?
All right. Thank you. It depends on the type of debt, you know. High interest debt like credit cards, which is not applicable here anyway. I don't think it is. But a debt that is high, that the interest on it is high, should be paid off quickly.
Okay.
Because once the CD depreciates, it's going to have an impact on you because the yield is high.
Right.
So you pay off those ones quickly. While the ones that are low interest yielding debt, you can manage them alongside your emergency fund. And so the type of debt is important. The type of debt, and here I'm talking about the yield on the debt, the interest on the debt, the cost, the price of the debt. So you need to understand that. If the price on the debt is high, you would not want to hold it for long. You would want to pay off that one quickly. If it is relatively low, then you can manage that alongside your emergency fund. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble.
Right. I see. Now, how can budgeting habits help individuals cope with the rising cost of living? The rising cost of living during CD fluctuations.
Right. Cost of living has an impact on your quality of life. And one of the strategies with which you meander your way around cost of living is to have a budget. A budget saves you from impulse buying. A budget helps you to be able to manage your finances within your means. In budgeting, you track your expenditure because you only spend on what you have provided for. Budgeting is to help you. It's like planning your life, where to go next, where to allocate your fund. Because in your budget, you have your estimated income as against your planned expenditure. So the expenditure items are planned. You have planned them. And so you're not going to spend on something that you haven't planned for. And if there is any need for you to spend on something, you may want to push it into your next budget. It depends on how you do your budget. Is it weekly? It varies from household to household. Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Half a year? Annually? I don't know. But your choice will depend on how you allocate your funds across them. I don't know if that is okay. And so it helps you to track your expenditure, and that is very, very, very important. Once you're able to track your expenditure, you are able to then identify your unnecessary cost items so that you can prioritize the cost items that are important and allocate funds across those ones so that your spending will be efficient. You prioritize your essential expenses and adjust you adjust them regularly based on inflation trends and other things. And so it is important for you because of the things that I have mentioned. If you do not budget, you will not know you are spending unnecessarily. You don't know. Your budget will reveal to you that you are spending so much on Uber and Bolt, and it is, however, high time you considered Trotsky and all of that. It will reveal to you that you are spending so much on drinks, you are spending so much on Indomie, you are spending so much on this, that. And if you had bought a box of Indomie, kept it at home, you'd be able to prepare it. And that slashes the cost of Indomie in a month by more than a half. And that tells you the savings you can make. That savings is the more than a half that has been slashed as a result. If you go in for Trotsky relative to Uber and Bolt, it will slash your expenditure on transportation by some 40%, 50%. That becomes savings for you. That is what the budget does for you. Yeah.
Right. And I think we've spoken a bit about keeping money in your house, right? But is it advisable to keep large sums of money at home when the cedi is depreciating? Because some people think that, I won't go and put it in a bank. Let me keep it in the house. Tell us about it.
It is not advisable to keep large sums of money at home because you will be losing. No, cash loses value quickly during depreciation.
All right.
Let's it. If you have 10 cities, city is depreciating, inflation is rising. Tomorrow, that money cannot do what it could have done today.
Right.
So the value of money would fall with time, given the condition parameters I've set, inflation and depreciation. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And so if you keep it home, you are just reducing your purchasing power over time.
Oh, okay.
The reason why we save and invest is so that, when we do that, intermediaries, banks, financial institutions, they compensate us for the risk we have taken, the passage of time, for inflation, among all the parameters I would have said. The parameters that depreciate the value of your money when kept at home, those parameters, they are compensated for when you invest or save the money. And so it is a no. You should not keep money at home. You need to invest them. You need to save them. Money is meant to flow. Once you keep it at home, you also contribute to inflation. Maybe that will be another time for us to discuss that.
Right.
But really, it is not meant to be kept at home.
Yeah. Okay. Ima, let's talk also. Let's move on to investment considerations. Basically, are there some specific industries or businesses that perform better when the CD is weak?
This is a tricky question. A very, very tricky question. Let me find a generic answer so that there is peace at the end of the day.
Sure.
When the CD is weak, find out who is benefiting and invest there. I've told you, when the CD is strong, it benefits someone. When it is weak, it benefits another person. Anyone who imports, any business that deals with importation, whenever the CD is depreciating, they will pass on the cost they have experienced to the consumers.
Right.
And therefore, any investment there is not as viable as the one exported. And the reverse is true when the CD is appreciating. I'm trying to give a generic answer so that I do not spotlight any specific places. Yeah, it is not prudent I do that.
But from what you have said in the past and even today, export oriented businesses could be one of them, or?
That's what I don't want to do, but since you brought it up here.
So and how about agriculture? Is there a space that we could
agriculture, export, yes. So, I mean, you have brought it up. I didn't want to go into the specifics because it's not prudent. Yeah.
All right, then let me move away from that then.
Yes.
Just so that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. Okay, so what are the benefits and risks of investing in foreign stock markets as a Ghanaian?
Thank you very much for this question. The benefits are that it's a means of diversification. Is that okay?
Currency
Hello,
diversification.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a means of diversification. So if you have an investment in a foreign stock, and for instance, the value falls, in terms of the value of that fall, it will mean that the city is strengthening against it. And so if you have another investment in city, that is how you perfectly heard. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And the reverse is true, but most often the city depreciates against that. And so once you have an investment there, it helps you. Is that okay? It helps you. It really helps you rather than hurting you.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah.
I don't want to be very elaborate on this one as well. It's not like I don't want people to kind of be investing in a foreign as it were. Yeah, but
so
it's a means of currency diversification, exposes you to global growth, and so whenever global growth is down, it affects you and all of that. And you are essentially affected by foreign exchange volatility.
Right.
In either way, downside or upside. But it's a good way to diversify. Yeah.
Okay. And some other risks?
The other risks are risks outside the boundaries of your country.
Okay.
The risk that the company may wind up, you may not have enough information. There is a theory in finance called efficient market hypothesis.
The what?
That's efficient market hypothesis.
Efficient market
That
hypothesis.
asset prices, yes, like currency and all the investments you will want to go into, their assets, their financial assets, they reflect all available information in the market. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So, in other words, the information that is available for these assets within the geographical locations they find themselves wouldn't affect them. And that will manifest greatly in your returns and how much you are earning from them.
Okay. Now, how can small business owners adjust their pricing strategies to stay profitable during currency fluctuations?
If you're a small business owner, keep going through your cost items and then adjust them, review them.
Right.
Identify some ways you can vary your pricing. Be dynamic about it. Don't be static. Otherwise, you'll be impacted because there is cost that has been introduced in the market. Yeah, and maybe if it is the import that is whose cost is rising, you may want to look at dealing with a local supplier. Is that okay? So that you mitigate that cost that is coming from imported goods. And if it is the reverse, you look at your importation as against local. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And consider some value addition as well so that you're able to justify your price increases.
Can you explain that a bit more?
All right. You know, if you are just into raw materials, I mean, nobody really wants to pay more for that.
Right.
But if you are turning that into some finished product and add some value to what you are selling. If you add value, see, if you go and buy porridge and it is sold for you in that plain white rubber they sell it in, you see what I mean? No, if they sell the porridge in Banku rubber, you don't appreciate it as much as the slim one. Is that correct?
That's true.
If they move from the slim one to these disposable cups, and you are charging 5 cedis, 10 cedis for it, it is reasonable. That is what I mean.
Okay.
If you go and buy washi and they sell it to you in that Olunka rubber, that they will tear some part of it and expand it like a 3D shaped rubber. I don't know why I laugh. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sure anybody can connect.
Yeah.
And you go and it is being sold for you in the normal pack, the white one. It's a different matter.
Right.
If you go and it is being sold for you in a different level of pack, you know the black ones with the plain lid. They are different grades.
Right.
Recently, I got some washi and the packaging was superb. The packaging was superb. I repeat. And so when they said it was 150 cedis, I could easily pay. You understand? So once you go into value addition, it justifies your price.
Right.
But if you are still selling it in the loan caraba and you are telling me it is 100 cedis, I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to buy it because it is costing more relative to the value you've added to the washi. It is still the same washi anyway, but the value you've added to it, sometimes it boosts my confidence to want to buy it.
Okay.
It takes away all doubts from it because you've added so much value to it.
Right.
The seal was sealed. It is not the normal packaging that you can open the lid. This lid has been sealed. The shito has been sealed. The gari has been sealed. Everything. I mean, you are comfortable to buy. So you don't have stew spilling, the oil spilling over the washi and all of those things. You don't have it.
Right.
So that is what I mean. Maybe it's because I like washi. That's why I'm saying that. But there may be other examples you can. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's. We should be wrapping up our conversation very soon. And I know there's something about inflation you may want to talk about. But just before that, do you think Ghanaians should consider cryptocurrencies as a way to, as it were, protect their finances?
Wow. I'm not a crypto person. Maybe let me find a nice way to answer it so that I can help everyone listening to us. Crypto, I know a lot of guys are doing crypto, right? Is that okay? And our laws have not backed it. Is that okay? A lot of laws globally have not also backed it. It's just a few countries that are doing it. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right. When you invest in crypto, you can lose all your earnings in a second. In the same life, you can earn a lot in a second. It fluctuates, like its fluctuation rate is quite high. Is that okay? Are we okay?
Yeah.
And so, speak to your financial analyst or investment manager about crypto before you invest in it. Because you need to keep your eye on the market.
Right.
I will not use this platform to make advocacy for it because I am not really a crypto person. It has a very high risk. It has a very high return and all of that. And so if you want to go into crypto, speak to a financial analyst, speak to your fund manager, speak to an investment person, let them guide you through it before you get into it.
All right. Okay, Ima, I think you've helped us, myself and my listeners. And so let's talk about the inflation issue. I know you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, it has dipped a bit to 23.5 from 23.8. Tomorrow we are going to get into discussion with that, and so I will not want to belabor the point. I will not want to get into the discussions yet. I just want everyone to know that our inflation has fallen from 23.8% to 23.5%, and tomorrow we'll bring you a quick discussion on inflation. And so stay tuned. Yeah.
Okay. Ima, thank you very much for joining me this morning. It's been a very fruitful conversation.
Should I consider this as they've given us more time, or was it because we didn't start it?
I pardoned you.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually we're going to get into our conversation with a LinkedIn guest. A LinkedIn expert, I should say, who is going to share some very valuable things with us on networking. Yeah. So, Ima, thank you. I'm grateful that you came.
All right.
All right. So this is still business.
My journey now.
Sure. This is still Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. Very soon we're going to go into a conversation with. I like to say LinkedIn experts do, but he doesn't like it. But we'll get into that conversation very soon. He will tell us why he doesn't like it. But stay tuned, enjoy this spot of music. When we return, my guest will join me in studio, and we're talking about how you can leverage networking for your business or career growth. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
When I look into your eye, they make me like a eye. Something they pin me and I can't deny. Although you kai. It's see the body with the curve, they get on my nerve. Something they pin me, now me deserve. Although you kai. Say you are gonna nominate. My number one candidate. This your love, they carry everywhere. Keep me waiting.
Yes, you are my nominate. My number one candidate. This love, they carry heavy weight. Don't keep me waiting.
Girl, I know. Loving you be my desire. You dey hide me like fire. Don't keep me waiting. Girl, I know go tired. Loving you be my desire. You dey hide me like fire.
Don't keep me waiting.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
I'm looking at Jim and back blend my way now. And I got my sister number, my own out of my back blend. I'm looking at Jim and back blend my way now. And I got my sister number, my own now.
I can hear what you say, but I heard it all before. So just be sure. Oh, yeah. Boy, I know what you like.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
I'm bleeding, nobody have to know. Cause you alone are the beat of my heart. And cool, but you sexy and hot. And champion lover, you a boss up the chart. And conquer them like a Spartan. With you, I gonna nominate my number one candidate. This your love, they carry heavyweight. Don't keep me waiting.
Yes, you are my nominate. My number one candidate. This love, they carry heavyweight. Don't keep me waiting.
Stay tuned to your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Well, you're still tuned into Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nitra Bihamon. It's exactly 9 a.m. And I have in studio with me this morning a gentleman. He's an award-winning public speaker and the executive director for Revo Lead Solutions Limited. And today we're going to talk about networking. Now, of course, networking isn't just about exchanging business cards. We believe that it's about building relationships that open doors to new opportunities. But how do you transform casual connections into meaningful partnerships that can drive career and business growth? And that's why we're having this conversation this morning. Whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a professional climbing the corporate ladder, or someone looking to expand your influence, this conversation will give you some practical steps to network with purpose and turn connections into lasting value. His name is Pa Kwesi Folsing. Yeah, and he's in studio this morning with me for us to have this conversation. One more time, he's an award-winning public speaker and the executive director for Revo Lead Solutions Limited. Pa, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
Charlie, how are you?
Amazing to be here, Charlie. I do.
Yeah, I did. Great to see you, Charlie. It's been a long time.
Charlie, it's been a while. When was the last time I saw? I think the last time I saw it was at Kempinski.
Yeah, Kempinski. Yeah, remember it was the SDG summit.
Yeah. That was when. I think it was like November or something. Yeah. Charlie, crazy.
Good to see you again. Anyway, we're live on our social media platforms. We are live on Instagram, Facebook, and X as ZFMGH. Instagram, Facebook, and X as ZFMGH. And you can as well join the conversation. Send us the questions, your thoughts, your comments on 0544321019. 0544321019. But we're talking about networking this morning. Mm-hmm. Let's start the conversation from here. What does networking mean to you?
So, then again, thank you for having me. It's amazing to be here. So, when you talk about networking, and I love the topic of today. Leveraging networking for what? Business and career growth.
Success, yeah.
Career success, okay. When I saw that topic, two main keywords or two topics or two things popped out, which is networking and what? Growth. So what we are trying to essentially say is that networking has some correlation to growth, especially with regards to your business or your career. So networking, let's just make it this simple and then we proceed to other things. So networking is simply the process of making a connection or building a relationship for a definite purpose. Let me say that again. Networking is the process of making a connection or building a relationship for a definite purpose. So when you are making a connection or you have a relationship, ultimately there should be an end goal. Okay, that's
Right.
where a lot of people don't end up messing up networks, or that's why they are not able to successfully network, because they don't attach an end goal to whatever they're doing. So where exactly are you networking with this person? Okay, you don't just go around networking with everybody, adding people into your circle, adding people into your network and your connections and your relationship life, all because you are just doing it for the networking sake. It doesn't work like that. You should have a purpose, you should have a goal, so that everything that you do, all your networking efforts are streamlined and very focused. Yeah.
But why is it a critical tool for business or success, career success?
Okay, absolutely. So everything in life, literally, every form of elevation that comes in life comes from another person.
Right.
No matter what. Whether you are in a company, you get promoted from who? Your boss, your superiors, literally. Anything you're doing, everything that, for example, I'm here because you're in my network, okay?
Right.
So everything rises and falls on network, on networking. Let me put it that way. Everything rises and falls on networking. So when you want to ascend to a higher level in whatever realm or field that you may be in, you're just one network away, literally. So it's so essential for that. The word grow, first of all, I think we'll have to then clarify terms, okay? The word grow, and then again, for people listening to me, I'm somebody who has been studying etymology since 2018. Etymology is simply the study of the origin of root words and stuff. So the word grow comes from an Old English word known as growan, which simply means to increase or to flourish. Exactly. So when we are talking about growth, we are talking about you being able to increase or flourish within whatever you are doing, whether it's your business, whether it's your career. So then networking helps us to be able to, for example, if I'm running a business, when I'm able to network, I can be able to get a supplier who will be able to give me discounts on stuff. So it helps, or I'm able to get connected to a particular thing that a lot of people are just not aware of, so that I can leverage on that and tap on it to be able to exponentially grow me or whatever I do. So essentially that's really about networking, and it's really critical for business and career growth. Like, it's so important. It's tremendously important if you are trying to really succeed.
Right.
So that's what I can say for now.
Right, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how has the concept of networking evolved over the years?
Right. Okay. So I mean, then again, you're taking me back to etymology stuff.
Right.
So first of all, a network in those times used to refer to rivers and those kind of things. Like, it was just like an interlock of things. I mean, it's a net.
Right.
So, I mean, networking is two words, net and work. Okay, so it's like the interlock of things. You see, when you see a net is almost like it's knotted.
Right.
So basically, that's what that was about. And then over time, it was used for broadcast, as in because of telecommunications, the advent of telecommunication and broadcasting networks. Then later, in like the mid-90s, it started to mean an interconnected group of people, which is where we are right now. So when I look at that and I begin to understand network, that as in an interconnected group of people, it's really about how you can be able to build a group of people around your life that will allow you to really ascend to any type of level that you want. So with that being said, there are two types of networks. There's something called your default network, and there's something called your strategic network. So your default network are the people that you naturally interact with, or who happen to naturally be in your life. So, for example, your classmates from school, you don't really... So, in fact, let me even say this. There are actually three types of networks. So there's default network, there's strategic network, and there's something called strategic default network. Okay, I'll explain that in my course of my submission, in the course of my submission. So the default network are the people who are already within your space. Okay, so you go to a church, those are the people you naturally interact with. Okay, it's not per se you intentionally going out of your way to be able to do something. They just happen to be in your environment. They just happen to be within your geographical space. So because of that proximity, it then gives you the ability to just know somebody. Okay, so a lot of us grew up with people within our area. You are just living somewhere, and then all of a sudden you see somebody walking, and then the person becomes your friend, and they become your lifelong networking partner. So that happens. So those are your default networks. Strategic network is you deliberately or intentionally going out of your way to be able to network with somebody for a definite purpose. So this is where you strategically pick things. Probably you start going to you join a particular club, you go to events, whatever it may be. That's what you were doing. It's very strategic. So you have a strategic network. You also have a default network. Probably, right from school, you've made friends that you did not intentionally plan to say, okay, this person is going to be my friend.
Right.
The person just happened to be in your class. Said, oh, Trebi, can you pass me the pen? And he said, or you said, oh, do you have a spare pen? And he said, okay, yes, I do. But what's your name? My name is Trebi. What's your name? My name is, and then that's it. That's what happened. It's just default. It just happens by default. So your default network, your strategic network. But then it comes another level called the strategic default, whereby some people intentionally choose a default setting to plug their lives in. So, for example, I decide that, okay, I'm going to start going to this particular church because I'm going to choose this church because this church is a rich church. Maybe only rich people go to this church. I know, there are some rich churches. And then some people start going there because they know that once I go into that place, that network over there will automatically be my default network.
Okay.
So some people end up, so even with schools, some parents intentionally choose. I had my dad was like that. He intentionally put me in schools where there were a lot of rich kids there.
Okay.
So I had the opportunity to be around people whose parents were well-to-do, who were financially stable.
Right.
So that was the environment that I happened to be in, and so it was a strategic move, but it ended up being my default network.
Right.
Okay, so it's strategic defaults, whereby you intentionally choose a default setting to be, you strategically choose a default setting so that will become part of your network. So that's really the concept of networking.
Okay.
And then again, there are different levels of networking. So there's upward networking, there's sideways networking, and there's downwards networking.
Right.
Okay, so upwards, this is where you are networking with people who are in another sense, I should say, higher than you within a particular space. So it could be your office, and the person could be your same age. The person could be the same age in the same office, but the person has a higher position. That is upward networking. Okay. Then we have sideways networking. These are people who are your peers, who are exactly at where you are in life, or who are within your level.
Right.
Okay. So it's not necessarily your age mate. It could be your age mates, most likely, but most of the time it's just people who are within the same level as you in whatever environment you may find yourself in. Then number 3, these are people who are then below you. So they are below you within the space. They may be older than you, but they are below you within the space. So then they come to you and they tap knowledge from you just because of the level of networking that you are in. So if you are in a step higher than them within a particular organization, foundation, whatever entity it may be, then it changes everything. So that's really about everything. So the upward networking, sideways networking, and then downward networking. So with that being said, when it comes to networking, and remember what I said about Growan. Growan, that is the old English word for grow. It was to increase. When you think about increase, when I don't know about you, but when I think about increase, I'm thinking about up, right? So what that means is that the fastest way to be able to grow is to network up.
Okay. The fastest way to be able to
grow is to network up.
Okay.
Because increase is what? Up. Okay. So if I think about growing, so if I'm thinking about growing, if I'm trying to grow and growth signals upward mobility, then if I'm networking and I'm trying to really advance or grow, then I have to also follow suit in terms of that upward movement.
Right.
So most of the networking that will literally exponentially grow you within the short term, let me just be clear, within the short term will have to be done through upward networking. Yes.
Right. Well, look into, there are a lot of things that come to play.
Absolutely.
I mean, networking upward. We'll probably come to that very soon. But what is the biggest misconception when it comes to networking?
The biggest misconception to me when it comes to networking is this same thing. That's why I said for the short term. Is you just networking upwards. A lot of people think that all of their opportunities
will come from people
above.
Right.
And sometimes it could just really be the people around you, but you're just so fixated on chasing people who are really ahead of you. And that's really everything. But Another thing that I wouldn't necessarily call a misconception, anything that I wouldn't really call a misconception is that, okay, so, right. So, anyway, so I wouldn't really call it a misconception, but I'll say that one of the biggest misconceptions about networking is that people think that it's a short way to success.
Right.
Okay, they just think that, oh, if I network and I just do this, I'll just quickly get this. So they see it as a quick solution to everything. And really that's one of the biggest things about networking. When in actual fact, you want to be in a transformational relationship, not a transactional relationship.
Right.
If you really want to be able to have long-term growth. Yes, that's what I can say.
Right. And I also want to know, is networking more about quantity, as in having more contacts?
Yeah.
Or it's about having fewer quality ones?
Yeah. In almost every given scenario, quality beats quantity. In almost every given scenario. Quality of experience is better than quantity of experience. Quality of network is better than quantity of network in any given scenario. So there are so many people who know a lot of people, but what you don't have is that there's something that I teach, is a concept that I teach to people, and we just literally had an event not too long ago, probably about 2 weeks ago, and I was teaching people this, and I call it the wisdom of the needle mover. Now, what that means is that there are some people who have a network and they don't have needle movers. When you see somebody's a needle mover, these are people who are industry weights, heavyweights. They can be able to just say one thing and bam. One word that they will tell you, or one network, literally access to them is an exponential benefit to your life. So a lot of people then have a lot of people who are not needle movers within any industry. These people are just there for the vibes.
Right.
Okay. Now, when you have people like that, you don't really expect to have business or career growth. So for people who really, really succeed, look at a lot of rich people. A lot of them may not be popular. A lot of them, or quite a lot of them, are not so popular on social media, or know everybody wherever they go. Yet they know very strategic people. They know the needle movers. So they go into a certain place. They're able to get. They make one call. They're able to get one big deal sorted out. They can just place a call for you, and there's a bank already chasing you for this, and everything changes. So it's really about the quality of network. You need to get people who are needle movers. In other words, you need to be around the language of power. You need to be around the language of authority. It's not really about quantity. You could know a lot of people and know nobody. And you could know just a few people and you know everybody.
Right.
Yeah. So quality over quantity, in the network scenario.
Right. Now, is there a difference between personal and professional networking?
Yeah, 100%. So then again, just because the focus of the conversation was towards business and career growth, that's why I was just limiting the scope of the conversation to professional relationships. But networking, you can also network for personal benefits. I mean, that's where we can now go, because, networking is always based on value, okay? There's something I call value dynamics. It's simply just understanding what is valuable to somebody and just being able to serve that purpose of value. So every relationship has some form of value. When people usually talk about value, they're always talking about how it relates to your career or your business growth. But it could be just the person being there for you to listen to your problems. That is some form of value that the person is offering to you. So that is the form of value that lies within the personal relationship scope. It's more about how it can serve your personal purposes. So there's a difference between that, because it's trying to serve your personal purposes, and then professional networking is to serve your professional purposes.
Right.
So for people, their profession is their business, so that's what they are running. So they network within that space. But however, there are also people who then get to interlock in both of your lives, which is very fantastic. I have a few friends like that who are also in my personal life, and then they are also very significantly involved within my professional life. And that, I think that those are the best relationships, when it's a professional personal relationship. It really helps, and it fosters a very deep connection between you. So yes, they are different.
They're different.
Yeah.
Right. So probably there's somebody listening to us this morning, and the person is saying, I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
Can I be an effective networker?
Yeah.
Tell us. I mean, give the person an answer for me.
Right. That's so. It's not really about whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. It depends on the purpose. That's why I began with saying that it's for a definite purpose.
Right.
So the purpose literally defines the means. Okay, so I don't want to, I'm just trying my best not to enter into a very personal development conversation because that's really my forte.
Yes, yeah.
But when you are able to define the purpose of something, that's when that's really going to be the motivator for your actions. Okay, so whether you're an introvert or not, for example, if you wanted to, I see introverts who still go for job interviews. I mean, you're an introvert, you don't want to talk, but why do you go for the job interview? Because it serves a purpose. You know that you have to get money to feed your family, to pay for your rent, to do everything that you can. So because there's a purpose there, you go outside of your natural you go outside of your natural habitat or your comfort zone or the way you're naturally wired to be able to go do that thing. Okay.
Right.
So it's not really about who you are as a person, it's about what you are trying to accomplish. So you need to really have that definite purpose. And once a lot of people just having established a definite purpose of why they want to network. Okay, so you need to focus on that. Why exactly does networking serve a certain purpose? Okay, if I'm trying to build a business, that means that even though I'm an introvert, come on, I have to start talking to some investors. Come on, I have to start talking to some partners. I need to start talking to suppliers. I need to start talking to strategic stakeholders who can be able to help me to promote whatever I'm doing.
Right.
So it's not really about who you are as a person. It's really about the purpose. And once you figure out the purpose, it can actually move you out of how you're naturally wired. And that changes the entire ballgame. So if you're an introvert, you have to have a definite purpose for why you're trying to network. Okay. And once you have that, I'm telling you, you even be surprised. You act outside of your natural state, and you actually be a pro at networking. So you really need to master the art of networking, whether you are an introvert, whether you're an extrovert, whether you are what type of vet.
Right.
Right.
Any type of vet. Well, it's exactly 20 minutes past 9, and this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trevi Hammond. This morning, I'm talking to Pakwesi Folsing, who is an award-winning public speaker and the executive director for Revolead Solutions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Revolead Solutions. And we're talking about networking, how you can network your way to success in business or career. Now, let's talk about some strategies that you can leverage for building a strong professional network.
Absolutely. With that being said, you first of all have to understand the 3 ways of networking. So there's something called, number 1, direct in-person networking. Number 2, direct online networking. And number 3, referral networking. These are the 3 these are the 3 ways by which you can network. Direct in-person, direct online, and then referral networking. So direct online is you literally directly texting somebody or you approaching somebody directly online. In-person is you meet the person within a physical setting, and then you approach the person, and then you make an advance and all of that. Number 3 is referral networking, where there's somebody there who is the middleman. So there's always this third party between you and the person you're trying to network with, which most of the time really works. So that's really a very efficient way of networking. But so with that being said, you have to then look at these ways of networking and then pick strategies from there.
Right.
So if I'm trying to network in person, that means that I have to literally work on my communication skills, because that's really the major thing that allows me to be able to network efficiently with a person, because the way that you express yourself really matters. The way, because a lot of people have a purpose for why they have a purpose for networking with somebody, they just don't know how to express their thoughts. They just don't know how to express and come to the person and say, they don't even know how to be able to get the person to like them. So for people listening to me, if you are trying to really improve on your networking skills, your communication skills, or your interpersonal skills, then you need to read this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's such a wonderful book. It's timeless. You need to read that book. I always tell people, like, you need to read some of these books if you really want, because it's age-old wisdom, okay, on how to be able to network and have interpersonal conversations with people. So if I'm doing direct in-person networking, I have to be able to master the skills of networking, how to be able to genuinely compliment somebody, how to be able to then use that and form a conversation right on the spot. Me, I know how to make conversations. I'm so good at that. It's something that I've really been good at. I don't know how, but I'm just able to do that. So, and I think that has been able to give me some leverage in the way that I move in my career line within my professional life. So that really helps. But there's also something called direct online. Now, the skills that you have most of the skills that you need for successful direct in-person networking actually also play a part in direct online networking. Just that they just don't get to feel your physical energy. Okay, you know, when you are networking in person, your energy can never ever deceive. If you are shy, it's going to tell. If you are timid, it's going to tell. But when you are online, it removes those barriers. So your words literally then become your advantage. So in something like that, you should be a master of words. Okay. I always tell people that words are not just a bunch of letters. Words carry destiny, words carry possibility, words carry life, and they carry energy. So these four things: words carry destiny, possibility, life, and energy. These four things. So just the way that you are able to express your words in the written text really matters. Even sometimes one of the best ways to be able to get, because you know energy is really a big part of being able to establish a connection with somebody. So sometimes when you're trying to network with someone, one of the things that you can do, especially when you're doing direct online thing, is that you want to send a voice note if you can. Just pick, I mean, prove like, who's this first? Imagine texting somebody I remember somebody who sent me a message some time ago, and the very first message the person sent to me was not even a text, it was a voice note. I was compelled to open because this is my very first time talking with you. So what exactly are you telling me? So I just opened it, and he said he just really complimented me on everything, and he brought his idea of what he wanted to do. And I was like, oh, that's fine. And I could feel his energy, his enthusiasm, how excited he really was to be able to talk to me. Whether that's fake or not, I don't know, but he tried, and I could feel the energy through his voice. So that's one of the things that can help you. It's one of the easiest ways. And then referral networking. What you want to do is that you want to be able to discover something called mutuals. A lot of people see these things on social media and just don't understand the concept of it. And mutual is not just somebody who, I mean, it happens in referral networking too. You need to leverage on your mutual. You need to figure out, okay, if there's somebody that, for example, if I didn't know you, Trebi, I have to look for somebody who knows you, who's very well in touch with you. Talk to that person like, hello, can you actually connect me to Trebi? And then it just moves on from there. So once you understand these three things, it helps you. Now, strategies, let me go deep into the strategies. Okay, so these are, I want to give a few strategies. Okay, so the first one that I can give you, if you're trying, and this works mostly when you're trying to network upwardly, is something I call the value given strategy. Now, what does that mean? When you are networking upwardly, you are the one giving value, you are not the one extracting value. This is where a lot of people mess it up. When you are trying to really grow for your business, I don't mind, okay, whether you are using any platform, whether it's LinkedIn, whether when you are trying to network with somebody who is ahead of you within a particular space, within an industry, within a field, within your given spectrum, no matter what the person is, as long as the person is upward, you need to be able to give some form of value. Your job over there, your primary role when it comes to networking upwardly is not to extract the value, is to give the value. So with the value given strategies, what you are trying to do is that you're trying to be able to give the person some form of value. What you can do is you can really do two things. Number one, you can participate in whatever the person is doing, so you can help, because I always tell people that elevation comes from participation. So you can so for example, if I see a lot of people who come to me and say, oh, hello, Pakusi, they want to be my friends, I'm like, fine, okay. But there are other people who come to me and say, oh, you have an event coming up. How can I volunteer? How can I help you do this? that is proper network. I'm able to actually even establish a deeper connection with the person, because now I'm talking to you. Now you get to talk to me, not because you're my friend, but because of work. And then the work then translates into friendship. And then the friendship translates into something else. And by the time you realize we are very close within a given period of time, that's the way to be able to enter somebody's life. Okay, so you are trying to give the person value. So people who have most of the people that are within my professional, because I have a team, most of them just came to me and they said, how can I help you do this? And then it just went like that. Another way is that a lot of people who are within that, who are up, if you're trying to network upward, another way to be able to give them value is by inviting them for an opportunity. Okay, so this is something that I've done multiple times, especially when in the past times where I even used to be the president of the business school in Central University and other places. Okay, I've worked at other places. Want to network with somebody, you don't really just come to the door and say hello. I want to, no. You invite them, for example, for a program. You organize like a webinar. So you can do that. Young people can do that. Like, it's one of the easiest ways. Just put together a webinar. Like a simple webinar, and reach out to the head of EY something.
People want to speak.
They want to be able to express their ideas. They also want to, you see, when you get to a certain point where you are in a place where people network with you upwardly mostly, you tend to then also want to be able to give network downwards as well. So you want to be able to share the knowledge that you've accrued on your way to the top. So when you give people that opportunity to be able to express that, and you give them the ability to be able to have some form of value in that regard, I'm telling you, it's going to work for you. You want to be able to, that's one of the ways. The easiest way I can give people is webinars. Like, it's the easiest way, because you don't need to have a physical venue. You don't need to do, you just have a Zoom link, have a Google Meet link. That is literally it. A webinar is nothing more than a glorified Zoom meeting. That's really it. And you just set a topic, you invite them, you get a flyer. You can make the flyer on Canva,
yourself.
Or you can just tell one of your graphic design friends to do that.
Yeah.
You network with the person, bring the person on board, and now the person is close to you. I've done that many times for seminars. Even I do. A lot of people, sometimes the people at the top, sometimes they don't even really, depending on who you're networking with, if the person usually gets speaking engagements. If you do a webinar the person may decide to even turn you down. If it's a physical event, it's most likely the person won't turn you down.
That's true.
So we just have a physical event. We bring you, and then by the time you realize, I'm able to network with you. Okay, so that's how it works. So you want to be able to give them some form of value by actually helping them, or by using the webinar strategy, which is part of the value added strategy. So you are giving them value. Number two strategy.
We will pause here briefly, and then we come back to that. But I can relate to whatever you are sharing. Far back as 2020, 2021, I was holding some virtual conferences. And it was global, right? Because I had networked with speakers from several parts of the world: America, UK, Canada, several parts of the world.
There's a Indian guy. I see you.
Correct. Like a lot of people. So I can relate with that very much. But we'll take a spot of music. We'll take a short break, and then when we return, you get into the other strategies you want to share with us. This is still Business Breakfast on Zed. Stay tuned.
All lovers to feel the love this Valentine with Love A to Z on Zed FM.
We're bringing love to life in every way, whether it's a grand gesture or a simple story.
Share your love moments with us, dedicate your favorite songs, and win amazing prizes along the way.
Tune in to Love A to Z on ZFM 101.9.
From Wednesday the 29th of January to Friday, February 14, you'll have the chance of winning amazing prizes from interactions on all our social media channels.
From BBZ to the brighter side with NYA the brand, and all the way to Highway 1019.
This Valentine, we'll make it every day a day to remember. Tune in, feel the love, and let us make your celebration unforgettable.
Well, thank you for staying with me. This is still Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Ni Trebi Hammond. And this morning I'm speaking to Pakwisi Folsing, who is giving us some very, very good nuggets when it comes to networking. Pa, you were just telling us, you were just giving us some strategies that could be used. And you spoken about the value addition strategy and a host of other ones. Let's get into some more. You wanted to talk about one particular one.
I wanted to speak about the strategic visibility strategy.
Right.
Okay, so this is something that I've really leveraged on. And when I'm talking about strategic visibility, I'm talking about one thing that has been popularized over the past few years, which is building a personal brand. Okay, so with this way, people, it's also about value, but people get to have a taste of your value in advance. So they get to feel the type of value that you have by virtue of what you do online. So it's very strategic. So for example, how have I done this over the past few times? So way before I even joined LinkedIn, I was that's why when some people tell me that, oh yeah, LinkedIn. No, I was coaching way before LinkedIn. I was training and speaking way before LinkedIn. So the whole thing is this: for example, I came on LinkedIn and I was sharing tips on leadership because at the time I was leading a group of people as the president of the Central University Business School. Then I also shared tips on public speaking because I'm able to coach people on how to be able to speak. I've really been doing that for some time. And then, so when I come there and I start sharing these things, now people see my stuff and they comment. Now, when they comment, some of them also send me text messages, and now they get to know who I am. So that literally opens a door for you as a network. Okay, it may not be direct, however, it's really exposing you. It's giving you visibility. Okay, and it's not just giving you visibility, but it's giving you visibility to the people who want what you have. Okay, so for example, if I'm going to talk about public speaking, I'm going to talk about how to be able to be a very good MC like you do. People who are not interested in that topic are not going to resonate with your post, okay? So it's going to actually help you build a very streamlined network with people who are actually going to open opportunities for you within the giving sphere that you want. Because sometimes you can network with people who are not strategic in any way, shape, or form. So you're just networking with them, but they are not within your industry, they are not within your space. So you end up adding them to your network, but they don't bring any direct benefit to your life. When you do strategic visibility by building a personal brand, what happens is you are able to build a type of network that can exponentially give you some form of benefit to your personal or business growth. So one of the things that you need to do if you're listening to me is that you need to be able to build a personal brand. Like, it's so critically essential within this age. So important. It's tremendously important, literally. I can't even overemphasize or emphasize on this, literally, in any way. In any given space, you need to build a personal brand, especially in the digital age, whereby we have the ability to be able to leverage on platforms. You know, before the new media era, which is where we are in with social media and everything, if you want to be able to leverage on any form of media, you have to directly go and pay. Like, if you're trying to advertise on the newspaper, you have to buy a full paper, and then you are literally advertising your products. But now we have social media, which serves as a leverage to you. Okay. I joined TikTok not too long ago. When I joined TikTok, I made a post. Within that post just go like 6,000 views. I'm like, hey, really? That's wild. Like 6,000 human beings. Think about that. So if I'm able to then strategically build myself in a way whereby I'm able to exponentially grow my network that way, I'll end up, number one, the only thing about strategic visibility is that sometimes you only get deceived by the quantity, thinking you have quality. So you may have a lot of people within your network, and they may not necessarily be the quality people that you may need. However, sometimes the good thing about quantities too, and that's the advantage quantity has, is that's one of the advantages quantity has, is that it's going to, it increases how I'm going to explain this concept, but when I have a larger group of people, or have a larger, I want to use this word. is used in research. It's just escaping my mind right now.
Population?
Population? This is population I want to use. There's another word. It's just not come to my brain. Anyway, let's just stick with population, right? Let's stick with population. You're trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
Don't worry. Don't worry. If it comes to me, I'll say it.
All right,
okay,
sure.
so let's stick with population. Okay. So, for example, if I have 20,000 people within my network, yeah, there are going to be some 5 quality people inside.
Right.
Just I'm saying, if nothing, okay.
Yeah.
So, in comparison to somebody who just has a strictly quality network, the more you also build the quantity, you end up getting more quality than you ever than you actually plan to have. So sometimes quality can increase the quantity can increase the quality, but just that you just end up having an excess of people who may not necessarily be quality, but you still have some quality people inside of your network. So that's why some people who do have personal brands are able to then, you see them get opportunities. It's just because within the quantity of the people, there are a few quality stuff that help you to be able to. It's still good in another way, still to just build your strategic visibility and just have that network. Because the more that I'm able to expand my network in terms of quantity, I'm able to have a few people who are quality within that, and that gives me an advantage. So that's what I can say for now.
Okay, great. So when you were speaking earlier, you talked about the direct in-person approach, right? I want to know, how do you approach someone?
Okay.
Directly. I mean, someone you admire professionally.
Absolutely.
Without appearing, I mean, without feeling awkward, basically.
Yeah. So
how do you do that?
Then again, it boils down back to the art of networking. Really, it really boils down to that. So one of the things that you may want to do is that, first of all, you need to understand people, okay? Everybody psychologically has a need for appreciation and validation. So the very first thing that you need to do is that you need to validate whatever they're doing.
Okay.
Quite literally. So you go to them, and then you don't just, like, you have to let them know that you know who exactly they are. Sometimes you go to some people, and because some people actually do feel important, okay? Now, when you go to somebody who feels important, you have to be able to acknowledge the person's importance. The moment you don't do that, you've already, number one, you've offended them. By the way, it's like you are treating them like somebody who they are not. Okay, you don't meet. That's why some of these people have titles. So when you meet the president, you don't just go to the president and you're just, hello Mahama. Hey, who told you that? They will put you. He will just look at you some way. You have to address the person according to the person's importance. So in other words, you are validating what the person has. You are acknowledging who the person is. So you come there and say, His Excellency Joe Mahama. It doesn't matter whether you are whoever, you first of all need to do that. So you come to the person, you say, oh, hello. You could just come with a little compliment. Oh, hello. I see the work that you do as a partner of maybe so-and-so company. Once you go there and you do that, first of all, it tells the person that, okay, you know exactly who you're talking to. You know the gravity of who I am. And then that opens the door for you, because first of all, then, okay, you're familiar with whoever I am. So one of the things that you need to do in an in-person strategy is that you need to be able to get some information beforehand about the person.
Okay.
A lot of people don't do that. I remember quite some time last year, I had the opportunity. Last year, I went for one of the summits, 3i Africa Summit. And that summit, I don't even know, like, so many people just went to that summit without even knowing people. I was just like, that summit had literally Patricia Obona just walking around. I'm like, how is this woman walking around? Nobody is seeing who she is. I'm wondering. And when we closed, there was this lady, very, very big, people were just passing. I'm like, hey, whoa, you've not seen do you know who this person is? So I knew who the person is, thankfully, okay? I just quickly opened my LinkedIn, just search something on the person, so I have a little advantage, okay? And then I just walked up to the person. I validated who the person was. I mentioned this particular thing. Like, oh wow, I see. And then immediately we just spoke. After we just finished speaking, she's like, okay, I have to go right now. Just give me your card. Just give me this and da da da. Wow. Do you know when the person left? Her driver just came, opened the door. It was a door to a Maybach. This is literally, And now people are just there walking around, passing, and you don't even know who that is. So you need to be able to. So the fact that I came to the person and validated who the person was, she knew that I'm not just talking to a random person. I'm not just some aimless person doing it. It's for a definite purpose. I know I know who I'm talking to. So that gives me the opportunity to be able to now step. So first of all,
that calls for research.
Research.
I mean, if you're attending any event at
research. Networking is strategy. It's a strategy, literally. You don't just networking is not just adding people into your connections. That's why I said it's for a definite purpose. It's for it calls for some form of focus that it comes like you need a focused approach, especially if you're trying to grow. That's why if the purpose is for growing, especially for business or career purposes, you just want to have these people within your network. You need to be able to do some research. Okay, anything that is worthwhile has research backing it. Anything, I mean, a project, a business. So you need to, if you are trying to network for something that is worthwhile to you, you need to be able to really research. Now when you research, then you move deeper into everything. So you first of all, you get the compliment, you validate who they are, then you have to find something of a common ground with them. Okay, so you have to find something. I don't know what it is, but you need to find something. Even if you are trying to even technically reach maybe you're not really a finance person, but you try and have this little force yourself to have a little finance conversation. That's why it's really important to at least know a little bit about everything. You can be a subject matter expert in whatever you're doing, but you need to have your hands on like every little part of everything. Okay, so you may not be the best at politics or the best at finance. I'm not the best at finance, really. But if you're asking me some questions about cryptocurrency, I could probably tell you something. Exactly. I could tell you my 2 cents on it. And then you get to say, oh, okay, I see. Then you also need, if you were doing that, you need to what you need to do is that there's a general rule of thumb that when you're networking with somebody, you need to 75% give them the opportunity to speak. And then you do, 75% of the time you have to do the listening and 25% of the time you do the talking. So it's a general rule of thumb. 75% of the time you do the listening, 25% of the time you do the talking. Okay, so once you do that, you give the person the opportunity to express their ideas, let them talk. People love to be able to talk and express themselves. Okay, research proves that. So you need to be able to do that, and that will really help you. So
okay,
and great. Let me just say this. So the way to be able to get them to be able, if you want to do a lot of the listening, the only way to be able to do that is by asking questions. So you have to get better at asking questions. So when you have that chance to interact with any form of generative AI like ChatGPT, if ChatGPT is not just going to automatically just talk to you, you need to prompt it. We are not AI as human beings, but it's the same thing. If you want to be able to get them to do the talking, you need to prompt
them to be able
big strategy.
Excellent strategy. Thank you. It's 9:45. We have just about 10 minutes to go.
That's fine.
And so I want us to get into the LinkedIn conversation.
Absolutely.
But if you're tuned in, this is Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Nee Trebi Hammond. And this morning, we're having a conversation with Pakwesi Folsing. And we're talking about how you can leverage networking for business and career success. You can join a conversation on 0544321019, 0544321019, or you can as well check us on our social media platform at ZFMGH on Instagram, Facebook, and X, ZFMGH. And we are live on YouTube as well at Z Multimedia. You may want to check and drop a comment or a question. If there's anything you need Pakwesi to touch on for you, just reach out to us and we'll give you the opportunity. Now, Pa, let's go to LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn has become the platform. I think the basic idea or the reason behind the creation of LinkedIn was for professionals to be able to connect.
Absolutely.
Right. But over the period, we've seen all kinds of things going on. And these days, even bringing reels and all of that. Is a whole crazy thing. But let's focus on that briefly. How has LinkedIn changed the way we network?
Yeah, absolutely. It's changed everything. LinkedIn was started by one guy called Reid Hoffman, and Reid Hoffman's
I spoke about him a while ago.
Oh, really?
This conversation.
I see. Yeah. So, Reid Hoffman's idea of everything was that how he was trying to be able to make it easier for people to network with people and build connection. That's why on LinkedIn you don't really call it followers. I mean, we have followers on LinkedIn, but the major thing is being able to connect. You're trying to connect. Just that people now think of it in a very superficial manner when it's actually deeper. When you connect with somebody, you have to be able to have a real connection with
Right.
them actually. So that's really about everything. So LinkedIn was a platform. So if you listen to me and you don't know LinkedIn, it's simply a social media app. Let me just put that out there, by the way, just so that you don't think, a lot of people just think LinkedIn is a place for jobs, which is actually not the thing. It's more a place for networking, but it's just because they understand that networking fuels opportunities. And so if I'm able to network, I'm able to get opportunities. So on LinkedIn, a lot of people just want to straight out apply, and a lot of people are applying for jobs and applying for opportunities and stuff. It's cool to do that. I mean, you can do that in the works. I know a couple of people that have helped do that in the work. Okay, fine. But the easiest way to be able to get consistent opportunities is by you getting better at networking using LinkedIn. So LinkedIn gives you, the thing about LinkedIn is this, and LinkedIn is such a wonderful place. You may not see, for example, like there's this man, Seloma Dadivo. I don't find him on Instagram. When I first joined LinkedIn, I saw he was one of the people that you see on my timeline, and I'm like, wow, this guy. I looked for him on Instagram. I didn't find him because I was using Instagram at the time, and I checked LinkedIn, and he was there. He had a lot of followers because in the professional world, he's rated. Yes, connections, exactly. He's rated. Okay, so if you see him on Instagram, he'll probably have like 200 followers. You think, this guy is probably a nobody. What do you mean he's a nobody? He's almost like probably even like 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. So connections on LinkedIn. So it's really that. So LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to be able to see the people who are within, especially within the career and corporate space. You get to be able to see who they are, and then you can easily network with them from that point of view. So how do you go about LinkedIn? Number one is that you need to optimize your profile.
Right.
It's so necessary. You need to do that. You need to be able to get your profile straight, because now if I'm texting you, it's just the way I present myself. Okay, because ultimately networking is just a way about this. One of the things that helps in networking is how you present yourself. If in person you don't want to go to somebody and talk to them, if you're not looking nice, if not dressed properly, you're not dressed decently, you don't want to do that online. Your online dressing is you optimizing your professional LinkedIn profile. Right. So if you're trying to network on LinkedIn, you need to dress your page up. You need to make sure your page looks great. How do you do that? Let me just give some quick tips for people listening to me. First of all, you need to get a very profile head. You need to get a very good profile headshot, preferably from your chest up. Okay, so don't take a picture of you holding a hand with your friend or something, a distant picture. We need to be able to see your face. We need to be able to see all the pimples on your face. I'm just joking, but like we need to see your face up close. Like we need to really see who you are. Then you need to be able to get your banner picture. There's something called a banner. Now, I always tell people on LinkedIn that your banner is your free billboard. Just how you see billboards on the streets, on LinkedIn, when you have a banner, you can actually write a value commanding statement that can be able to allow you to get opportunities. Then your headline. Your headline section is the very first write-up on your LinkedIn page. So this is where you write your titles, who you are, and what kind of value that you give people. Okay, so you can either write a sentence, let's say, I help people do this, and then you add your titles later. Or you could just put titles like, I'm Trebi, I'm a radio presenter at Zed FM. As simple as that. So you can have that. Then you have to have something called an about section. LinkedIn has added a summary section whereby you can write about yourself. So whenever somebody tries to network with me, I go on their page and then I go and read about you. If you don't have anything about you, I probably may not even open your message anymore. I probably may not respond to you. It's the same thing that happens. And because I have been able to dress my page properly, and I have my about section whereby when you read about me, you're like, this guy has really done a lot of things. He has really accomplished a lot. Now, when you read that, the way you even talk to me now changes. And ever since I was able to really build up my page to a very high level, it has made networking so smooth and easy for me. Like a lot of people that I text, most of the time it's almost like an 80% rate of them responding to me, 80% response rate. So that means that in the giving every 10 messages, I probably get about 8 of them responding back to me, and 2 of them not. So that increases my chances. So you need to fix your profile picture, your headline, your banner, and your about section. The rest of the things, your experience, your school, you can always add that, and then your skill section. That's really about it. So you need to do that. Then after you have that, you can connect with people on LinkedIn, and then you send them a text. So once they accept a connection request, you can send them a message, a very good message, given the format that I've already taught you. Validate who they are. Then you find a common ground, and then you present whatever idea you have, and then you sign out. As simple as that. They're going to respond to you, and you make magic.
Wow, it's quite unfortunate we have very limited time, and we should definitely do a part 2 of this.
Absolutely, we should do that. We should do that. And by the way, I just want to say, one big mistake that people make when they're networking is that they don't beforehand try to define what they are trying to. I mean, I'm talking about like actually defining what the relationship is. Is this
I was
going to
actually
be
coming to that.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you that. Should people just, because I see a lot of people trying to connect with everybody on LinkedIn.
Right.
And people pride in themselves. I mean, pride in the numbers they have on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I have 5K connections. I have.
Right.
Is it really about just connecting with everybody, or you have to be selective?
You have to be selective. That's why you have to be selective about that. Then again, is what for if it's for business or career growth, you have to be selective. You are just trying to. If you don't have a purpose for that, you will just do anything and. If you are just doing anything, there's nothing you're going to do. But however, let me connect this. When you're connecting with people, you need to be able to define like the purpose,
right?
Like not just the purpose, but who they are, what category of people are they? Are they going to be a transactional person or a transformational person? That's what you need to really define. Because even Jesus. Let me just say this. You see, when Jesus came, Jesus literally defined, or even Adam. When God, one of the first tasks God gave Adam in the Bible was that He allowed him to name things. He put a tag on things. Okay, so you need to be able to put a tag on the type of relationship that you are building. Is this going to be transformation? Is this going to be transactional? Is this just going to be solely perfect? Like you need to actually put a tag on them. That tag really helps you, because the whole thing is this: anything that you don't define will never align, and anything that you do define will never be a waste of time.
Maybe you should repeat that.
Anything that you do not define will never align, and anything that you do define will never be a waste of time.
Okay.
So you need to really define, like put a tag on whatever you're trying to do. Put a tag on that, and that will literally help you do something on LinkedIn. So then again, as to what you said, it's not just about the numbers on LinkedIn. I'm not just trying to connect to anybody. If you really want business or career growth, boy, you've got to be selective about who you're talking to. Boy, you've got to be selective about who is in your network, because that really amplifies everything, and it literally changes the entire ball game for you when it comes to networking on LinkedIn. If you're trying to get a job, my guy, you need to start networking with recruiters. You need to start not only recruiters on LinkedIn. There's a way and this is just a free strategy for anybody. If you are trying to work in a particular company, for example, if I want to work in ZFM, there's a LinkedIn page. All you need to do is just go to open your page. I type people, I look for HR, and then I connect with your HR person or your recruiter. Now, the person is within my network now. For example, if I can decide to do two things, I can either message the person, or now the person is part of my network, I start posting content that reveals who I am, my real substance. For example, so if I know I'm coming to work here and now start talking about radio and how to be good at interviews and everything, and the HR person now see me and say, this guy he talks about interviews and stuff. Can we bring him into our company and interview him and then see what this person is made up of? And it changes the entire ball game for everything.
Right.
So that's what you can do, and it changes everything, I promise you. So that's what I can tell you, literally.
Very, very important things you mentioned there. I want us to. There are a lot of things I want us to talk about on LinkedIn. Yeah. But how do you turn an online connection, right, into an offline relationship?
Okay.
Or business opportunity?
Absolutely.
Maybe we can end on that.
So you need to give the ask. Really, you need to be bold. There's no magic between everything. There's no magic behind everything. You need to really give the ask. So what you need to do is that you need to first of all have a good online conversation first. Okay.
Right.
Now once you have that, you just let them know that on so and so date, I'm going to be over here. I think it would be great if we could meet and discuss and have lunch during one of your lunch breaks. Because first of all, you just have to be able to first of all recognize that the person's time is very important to the person. Okay, so the moment you acknowledge that, you may be busy doing so and so, but it would be great if you can steal a conversation during this time, and the person just, it happens. So most of the offline connections that I've made, it happens for me being in a cafe. Like on LinkedIn, we just meet in a cafe and talk, discuss ideas, and most of them have turned into very beautiful, blissful opportunities.
Right.
So that's what you want to do. Just give the ask. Tell them, but you have to have something worthwhile, okay, that you're going to be talking about. Okay, so you can tell them that, oh, you have this opportunity that you have, or it will be great to just discuss so and so ideas that are common to both of you, and you'll be able to do that. So just give the ask, just after you have a very good brief conversation online, just tell them that, oh, it will be great to meet you in person. Where are you, and just meet them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a great conversation.
Absolutely.
It's just that we have
Trevor.
very limited time.
Absolutely.
And so maybe I should take your final thoughts.
Okay.
Or maybe one piece of advice you want to give to a business person or somebody who wants to grow in their career.
Okay. So
using networking.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, there's this popular saying, I mean, your network is what? Your net worth. Okay. Right. But really, a lot of people, networking, if you want to achieve success in life, it's not really about what you know, it's about who you know, and it's about who knows you. Let me say that again. If you want to achieve success in life, it's not really about what you know, it's about who you know and who knows you. Sometimes it's not just about who you know, it's also about who knows you. You need to be able to put yourself in a place whereby people can also know you, because you can't know everybody in the world, but a lot of people, everybody in the world possibly can know you. Not almost everybody, but like technically almost everybody. Okay. So what you need to do is that you need to be able to figure out, transcend from the place of you just being a subject matter expert and trying to get people within your space. You need to be able to, if you want to grow, if you want to increase or flourish, as we spoke about grow on, which is grow, then you need to be able to have people, okay, within your space, because everybody, let me just say this way. I want to put it in a particular way, but everything rises and falls on networking. Your next level is in your next connection that you make. Really. So your next level is in the next connection that you make. So the place that you want to be, somebody else is going to put you there. I mean, even your money is in somebody else's pocket. So it's really about that. So you just really need to get people, strategic people, into your network in your life. And I'm telling you, it's going to exponentially increase everything that you want and grow your business and your career in ways that you never imagined or fathomed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. You've given us a lot of value. We have to do, producer, please facilitate that for me. We need to have part 2. I don't know whether tomorrow, if tomorrow doesn't work for you, maybe sometime within a week or maybe next week.
Absolutely.
And then let's go more, into details with that.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you came.
You're welcome.
Well, that's how we wrap up today's show here on Business Breakfast on Zed 101.9 FM with me, Trebi Hammond. It's been a great conversation with Pakwesi Force, and we've been talking about leveraging networking for business and career success. And I believe that you've gained some value. You can check the video out on our YouTube at Zed Multimedia or on our Facebook platform at ZFMGH. Please keep it logged in here on Zed 101.9.